Pure Talk and claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Again, go to puretalk.com/puretalk to switch to Pure Talk today.
This is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Set up a consultation and take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Atlanta area attorneys. 404-793-0000. 1 Glen Lake Parkway Northeast, Suite 975, Atlanta, Georgia 30328. CordellCordell.com.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug Rhino and Front Office Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I don't go to thrift stores often, but when I do, I like it. Like, I don't know why.
I do too.
I'm not a picker per se. Like, I know they did the shows where people just pick through things and they just find these incredible, treasures at a thrift store. Our web guy, Scott Maxim, he's a picker, and he makes a grip of money off of things that he finds in thrift stores. He found like this, a driver, and I don't know what kind it was. He told me, I can't remember. But it was like a $300 driver
he told me.
that he bought for $2 and sold for $250 on eBay.
I do remember him telling me that story, but the problem is when someone tells me a story like that, and he kept telling me, I then picture his hoarding house full of just crap he bought and left there.
That's right.
Like, that's all I could keep picturing as he told me the story, and I'm like, wow.
Like, I've seen hoarders.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
I wonder how much stuff
and then they
he's
got hoarders. That one actually spawned the other. That's funny.
If you have seen that show, it's amazing how these people can't let stuff go.
That's right.
Like, to be like, Dad, there's like this whole mess of stuff on the property. That's all copper wire, son.
Yeah.
You're like, but it's been there for like 3 years. It's worth something.
Or 35 years is most likely.
It's going to be there when we need it.
That's exactly right. We're going to take it over there and melt it down and get a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah. I could just imagine his house right now.
There's a small element of this that I want to partake in because my wife and I really like restoring some furniture.
Okay,
that's kind of a fun thing to do, like in the garage, and we'll find something and then we'll put it in a house. The crazy part is that I started talking to her about, what if we just get like a storage facility, and when we retire, we'll just do some of this and we'll sell it.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts.
Yes.
Okay. And then before you know it,
you're going to be on
everywhere.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're like, well, you need a bigger storage unit. And you start moving into bigger storage units.
Now
and you're like, we got
really
space.
big ones.
Yeah. It's what happens.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up, there was a World War II era grenade that was found in a thrift shop.
Yeah.
Of all things.
That's awesome.
It was just in a bin.
Yeah.
Like an active grenade that I suppose could have blown up the entire store.
Just some kid goes in there, pulls the pin, and throws it.
For sure, man.
Thinking it's fake.
I guess if you have this, and maybe it was passed down from Grandpa, you don't think that it's active, right? Because who would have a damn active grenade? That's crazy.
I had a friend of mine. She bought a house in Dallas, and it had been previously owned, and she decided she was going to do some renovation. When they opened up one of the walls, there was a grenade sitting right there. And she had to call, you have to make a phone call. Sure. And you've got to bring specialists in. And sure enough, they said it's not live. But the fact that you found a grenade in your home while you were doing this is crazy.
It is. But, so when I collect World War II things, I look a lot, and I haven't done it because I just am poor. But when I was able to do it a little bit more, I would look through the ads of anybody having estate sales, garage sales, things like that. And you would eventually find someone who's, hey, my father was a World War II vet, or my grandfather was, and we have all these things here. We don't know anything about these items. They are weapons, whatever. And you go in, and that's where you get the best deals, by the way, because they have no idea the value
right.
of them. So you rip them off and get a good deal for yourself. But they would have grenades, smoke grenades. Like, they would have things that were still that these vets would bring back with them. And you'd be like, yeah.
There's the picture of it.
Right, because they don't look real to them. But that's
from Business Insider. That's the picture.
Real enough to us.
Holy cow, dude!
Yeah, but they don't know what they're holding or what they're handling, and then they drop them off at the thrift store.
It's something Grandpa had, man.
Yeah.
It's just a little.
Probably wasn't real. Grandpa just kept it on the desk.
It's a knick-knack.
A knick-knack.
It's gonna sit on a shelf somewhere next to the gun safe,
right,
or gun rack.
Yeah. He always threatened to pull the pin, but we just knew it was fake.
Yeah. Turns out it wasn't a paperweight.
Yeah.
You actually could blow up.
Granddaddy was crazier than we thought.
Wow.
Keep him away from matches, I hear.
that's right.
Yes, you tried to constantly burn the house down.
Grandma
like
Laura had this and matches in her drawer.
That's exactly all
The theme that we've had from the 6 o'clock hour was that you are living with people in a country where they're actively trying to burn the country down, and that you stopped it for yesterday with a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, but that person is like Tug's wife. Just can't wait to get a hold of some more matches.
Yeah.
And then set the drapes on fire and burn the house down. Yeah, so and you all brought up, you said your friend had found something like that. Y'all know Jen Hobby?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she works in Atlanta. I think she's at Star 94 these days and does a little TV show on Channel 2.
Don't call it little. See, that's a
Well, I don't mean
just such a reduction.
wow.
See, sorry,
You
that's
do
not
a
what I mean.
little
She
radio
does
show.
Exactly, but I would say
tiny
that about
little
myself
radio
too.
show.
We do a little radio show. It's just a habit. It's not meant to because I love Jen and she has
I'm gonna
done.
go tell her.
She does extraordinary work. She's fantastic.
Oh, now you're trying to fix it.
No, but it's the truth.
Why are you just rolling your eyes when you're saying she's fantastic?
Hold on, let me
now
at
you're making-
Jen
see,
Hobby.
now y'all-
Yeah, go ahead.
I,
Send her.
I had one.
She's such a sweet girl, and here you are.
Jen is wonderful. Before her husband and her moved over to Marietta, they were living somewhere, in like Midtown or something. And they had found, they were digging in the backyard and they were going to plant some flower beds and maybe even some vegetables. And they run across this metal, what is a metal round object. And then the more she looked at it, she was like, this looks like a cannonball.
Oh, wow.
Turns out it was a cannonball.
So, like Civil War era cannonball? That is so cool.
Because there was so much of that happened in Atlanta, And so they called out. This dude came out and inspected it, and he said, these things are live. They have active gunpowder in them.
That is... Okay, super cool.
I know,
cool
right?
story ever to find in your backyard.
Absolutely. She's out there just tink, tink, tink. What is this? Oh, it's a cannonball.
Grant, what is this? Come look.
It's a cannonball.
Sweetie, that's a cannonball.
Yeah, and he's a superintendent, man. He's a smart man. He probably recognized that immediately. But I just remember when she told me, I was like, what did you do with it?
Great story.
Yeah, so she found, and I think they found multiple. It wasn't
Turned
just one.
into
I
a
think it was
bowling ball,
Yeah, seriously.
and I won.
That's right, absolutely. We blew up the whole back half of the building. Knocked off everybody's pins.
All I yelled was strike and ran.
That's exactly right. So I think ultimately I found 2 or 3. But it's just crazy stuff like that you maybe hope to find in a thrift store. And I never do. Like, I can't even find like a vintage T-shirt that I want. So I love going in and looking, but I don't stay long because I never find anything.
I buy kitchen equipment there because people get rid of it and they're like, whatever, and I get it for cheap. And my brother is the king of thrift store cooking equipment. He brought back a Cuisinart for $3.45. That thing's like a $200 machine.
Wow. And what's the real expensive brands, like KitchenAid or something like that?
KitchenAid's a really good mixer. Cuisinart for your your Cuisinart's your Cuisinart. That thing's the greatest. But for
you just got to
KitchenAid,
know. I guess that's
KitchenAid is if you want something that a professional would use or is professional quality at home, KitchenAid mixers, those things are great with the attachments too. They're expensive, but they're great.
Unless you get them at the thrift shop.
Yep.
But you got to know what you're looking for, and that's the thing I never do. All right, Morning Extra, we're on the air until 10. Tug, Rhino, and Los, glad that you're here. Hoping you're listening on the Extra 106.3 app because you can listen live and on demand. Here in just a little bit, Neil Bortz, probably 15 minutes from now. Neil Bortz, the Talkmaster, will be here. The only place to hear Neil Bortz, legendary voice in Atlanta radio, is here on Extra 106.3. He does pop in once a week now with the Camera Show, too, which is cool. We talk about the craziness that's happening at the border, and everybody knows that Joe Biden can do something about it. Even when he's approached, and Los had the audio yesterday of him saying, well, I need extra force. I need extra forces.
I need more forces.
Yeah, to be able to defend the border. I need more laws and forces. Turns out he didn't need any of those things, and everybody knows it. I'm not sure he does because he's just not with it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be as polite as I can about his mental state, but he's not with it enough to know that he has executive order power that he could shut down the border at any point to protect the country. He chooses not to. Y'all, this dude on Twitter put together this incredible, and we're going to play it for you, this incredible video of Joe Biden in his own words, and it is everything that is frightening and scary and then will tick you off about what he's doing.
I would, in fact, make sure we immediately surge to the border. All those people surge to the border, surge to the border.
More than 7 million people, that's how many foreigners have entered this country without permission or documentation.
Venezuelan government is purposely freeing inmates, including some convicted of murder, rape, And those criminals are now entering the U.S. through our southern border.
We are using American tax dollars to ship children into known prostitution.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. It's sparking massive outrage after her alleged killer was in the country illegally.
A Pasadena girl was found sexually assaulted and strangled.
An undocumented migrant illegally crossed into the United States.
An illegal immigrant charged in a hit and run that killed a 10-year-old boy. The shooting that left a 2-year-old boy dead. This suspect was in the country illegally.
I caution against conflating immigration and crime. The data demonstrates that the two are not connected.
It is so obvious to me why it feels so dark right now, and that is because we lost one of the brightest lights that there's ever been.
On Monday evening, the sunshine wasn't the only thing lighting up the clear blue sky. Gold balloons honoring the life of 10-year-old Alex Wise Jr.
A line of people from across the community hugging a father going through unimaginable pain.
Hard to imagine the grief that this young mom is going through, seeing her own child killed right in front of her.
How did our baby die?
Surge to the border.
It is unreal. You have to see it. You can find the guy. It's at Western Lensman who put this together, and he just is obviously incredible with video and is able to gather all the things that we've played over the past 6 months to a year and just compiles it all perfectly, but it comes together. The one thing that stood out to me the most is when the mayor of Athens said, oh, don't conflate the two.
Sure.
Crime and immigration. Don't conflate the two, as there's a woman murdered by an illegal immigrant in his community. It's like you just want to slap him and be like, dude, wake up, man. What are you missing?
When you hear it, I was like, it's a little much. You know why? Because there's so much of it, and this is the problem. This is happening every single day, and it's not just here. Yes, this happens to be a high-profile case because of the way it occurred. The girl went out for a run. There's so many stories like this all over the country. Yeah, it's too much what's coming across this border. It's too much what's happening, and to sit there and pretend like the first part of this presidency and this administration where they were saying, yeah, we're going to go, this is my border czar, Kamala. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, that, and the other. And they did the opposite for 3 years until these events continue to happen. I'm glad they pointed them all out.
The statist has a mindset. Understand the mindset, and then it'll all make sense to you. The statist wants to be judged strictly by their intentions every single time. Hey, we're the richest country in the world. Why don't we allow anybody in here? Bring all your Christians. Bring all your Catholics. We love everybody. All come and flood the border. Come and do the surge. They never want to be judged on the results. And then when results are mayhem and death and child prostitution and human trafficking, that's when they tell you it's not happening.
Right, yeah, look away.
Yeah, again, if you want to bring everybody in, my intentions are to be looked at, not my results. And when the results are poor, I'll tell you they're not happening.
And that's what's happening across Europe. That's what's happening through South America. That's what's happening now in the United States. And all of this, some people may think that the whole green energy, the whole climate craziness that goes on has nothing to do with any of this stuff, but I think it does.
Sure.
I think they actually all go together hand in glove, because ultimately those people who are climate crazies, they want ultimately to have socialism and communism. How do you do that in the United States? You tear down the energy, and then you replace it with energy that's unreliable. That gives you power and control to say, okay, you actually will have some energy today. You won't, because our ESG says you're not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And then you open the borders, and I think all of this works together because it is all trying to get to socialism, ultimately communism.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everything links to that.
Yeah, it does.
You go to energy. Energy is linked to that because they're trying to get rid of the oil industry and take out one group and try to replace it with something that's not going to function. But they want to funnel the money. And everything, like Carlos has told everybody before, and we talk about all the time, is it's just just one of the tools in their arsenal. Just pick one. Whether it's the border, then you go to your virtue signal about the border. No, it's not about what we're saying is protecting American people. To them, they go to the race card. They go to the fact that you're now, xenophobic. That's what it's coming back. Here it comes again. Or they go to Palestine. They all talk about the same things. When you argue with them about the border, then they go to Israel. Or if you have from what I found out, if I have an Israeli flag and I'm talking about the border, it's because I'm a, Zionist Jew. But yeah, they will just switch. Black Lives Matter, this, that, the other, but they all have the same agenda.
And notice when you do talk about that Athens mayor and how he tries to remake the battle lines. Well, don't conflate these two. Well, what happens when they're linked?
Yeah.
So you're trying to say, don't conflate the two. I tell you these two are linked, and here is right in front of you. And that's why you had all those people yelling at him. The issue that ends up coming around is that once they are cornered like an animal, the only thing that the statists can do is name call in the interest of trying to get you to defend yourself or you to be quiet. So as of now, it's, why do we have all these illegals doing these things in the country? What, are you racist?
Yeah. Do you not like people? You don't want people here?
The icon for this is Neil Boortz coming up later this hour. Where for the longest time it was, Neil, you're racist. Because they wanted Neil to shut up.
That's right.
So that's the game right now being played with you. Don't even jump into that realm. Just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. Explain why we have dead people and mayhem in the streets.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. and that's the funny part. That's literally what happened to me this weekend when I asked, wait, so this, you understand that the bills that were passing, the border being shut down is to protect everyone in this country. And the comments back from them was, you're just a racist, you Jew. And I'm like, wait, what?
It always goes back to the same thing.
Right. It's the same game.
We want you to be quiet. We want to intimidate you into being quiet, and we will get to socialism or communism one way or another.
So as of now, because we talk about putting so many of these illegals in these communities, and we recognize that this is in an election year and that they want to try and get them to vote. When you bring up voter ID laws, what's the first thing they tell you?
They're racist.
Yeah. Racist?
We heard Merrick Garland talking about it at church in Alabama.
Racist IDs.
Over the weekend.
So you've decided that American citizens who are here legally, and if they are a minority, somehow they're dumb enough to not be able to get legal ID.
Yeah.
That's what their entire complaint is, and that's not racist. The other is.
Yeah, everything.
Exactly right, man.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Super Tuesday, March 5th. That's right, 17 states will make their choice for their party's presidential candidates today. Donald Trump took one step closer to securing the Republican nomination with a win last night in North Dakota. Former President Trump beat rival Nikki Haley by 70 points, securing all 29 delegates from the state. Trump now holds 273 delegates and needs 1,215 more to secure the nomination. Cobb County Police have stated they received reports about a TikTok post suggesting the brawl that happened at Six Flags Over Georgia was planned in advance. The video titled, "You Live in Atlanta and You Already Know What's Finna Go Down March 2nd at Six Flags." This prompted the investigations. Police have charged the 15-year-old boy who shot at police and was struck by return fire. The boy remains in critical condition at Grady Hospital. The GBI is continuing to investigate the brawl. And the Atlanta Hawks are in New York tonight, where they'll be taking on the Knickerbockers at Madison Square Garden. Tip-off from the Garden scheduled for 7:30.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, the Talkmaster that we were just discussing, legendary voice in Atlanta radio, has still got a lot of things to get off his chest, and we're going to let him do it during the Neil Boortz Show on the Morning Extra next on Extra 106.3.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Hey, it's Lowe's. Let's huddle up here, okay? Pro landscapers, you weekend warriors like myself, or those of you who just want to look like you have a really nice yard. Let's all get together, okay? Everybody huddle up. Get in here. Howard Brothers is the name for everything when it comes to your yard. and I want you to remember it. I'm going to say it again. Howard Brothers has everything for your yard. Now, I could run down the list because the lawnmowers, you know that they've got. How about string trimmers? How about edgers? All right, that's fine. What about chainsaws? Yes. How about chippers and shredders and hedge trimmers and flower bed mini tillers, large garden tillers? They have a little bit of everything, including sprayers, pressure sprayers, hole augers, compact tractors. If you've been into any one of Howard Brothers locations, you know they got everything for your yard. The list goes on and on. They sell the premium brands so that you get a premium cut and a premium look to the yards you're working in. With stores in Alpharetta, Athens, Dallas, Dorville, Duluth, Lula, and Oakwood, why go anywhere else? It's Howard Brothers. They have everything for your yard.
Well, Michael, I want to thank you for your time, but unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and quite frankly, we were concerned.
About what?
Apparently, you were arrested for throwing a shopping cart at a customer?
In my defense, he had it coming.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Is this the year you want to grow your business? Do you want to expand your team? Build a new office? Hey, it's Tug, and I want to tell you about First Liberty Building and Loan. Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you're dealing with a new person? You won't have to with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they can help you too. They know the patterns, they know the ebbs and flows, and they know business. Now the Frost family wants to know you. FirstLibertyGA.com. Buying a building, building a building, buying a franchise, or expanding. Reach out and spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. FirstLibertyGA.com. By the way, if you're a young banker and you want to work with a team that's faith-friendly with a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan at FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
Start your mornings the right way with Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3.
It is also the only place you can hear from Neil Bortz, the Talkmaster, throughout the day. His daily commentary that if you ever miss, you can get on the Extra 106.3 app, or when he checks in for the Neil Bortz Show during the Morning Extra. And you can go back and listen to anything that he has said there on the app as well. Neil, what is up, man? How are you?
When is the memorial service for Six Flags going to be held?
As I told my wife last night or the night before, I said it belongs to the streets.
Yeah.
Like when your car gets stolen, you say it belongs to the streets. Six Flags now belongs to the streets.
Well, in the early days when my daughter was still in grade school, and who we call Squirt, by the way, we had season tickets to Six Flags. On a whim, we'd just go over there after school on a weekday and have some. No way in hell now. I mean, I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was before I retired, that Six Flags was already getting the reputation as a hangout for urban gangs. Mm-hmm. And people knew that if they went to enjoy what there is to offer there, they were going to put their safety at risk. I really don't see how Six Flags recovers what happened on opening day. And now, apparently, as I heard from you this morning, all of that, or a lot of that, was pre-planned.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a sad day for me because I got to meet my hero right there at Six Flags when I got to ride the roller coaster with you, sir. So it was a sad day, but yeah, this is something that was on TikTok. It was planned. They titled the video, "You Live in Atlanta and You Already Know What's Finna Go Down March 2nd at Six Flags." I mean, they already knew that this was opening day. They were going to do this. And apparently Six Flags then put out that a smaller group had done this the year before, that this is a yearly occurrence on the day of, and they all know about it, and they haven't put a stop to it. That's the disturbing part to me.
Have you ever wondered why Disney World charges about $135 to get into the Magic Kingdom?
Well, now I know.
Now you know. Exactly. Could you imagine what a mess Disney World would be if the ticket prices were down on the level of Six Flags?
Oh, well, yeah.
It's just no thing. You know, I'll pay the money to feel safe.
But what would Six Flags do? Because if you raise the price, you know what the left will say. You're racist. You're doing that to keep these people out or certain groups out.
You know, everything is racist. I mean, absolutely everything is racist. It's the most overused and inconsequential word in our language right now. So, but anyway, Six Flags needs to be in Haiti.
Well, now you see where the cartels or whatever taking over Haiti, and they're emptying the prisons, which will ultimately end up in the United States. Saw that story yesterday.
Especially if Democrats remain in power, because we have to do something for these. They need asylum. Come on, Haitian. You know, I came up with the idea years ago. I knew what the solution was to Haiti. I presented it on the radio several times. Nobody listens. Well, you remember?
What was it? I don't. What was it?
Y'all weren't listening. You take the student body presidents of the largest 100 colleges and universities in this country. You get all these student body presidents together and, you say, okay, smartasses, you know all the answers. You know everything that needs to be done for a perfect society. We are handing you Haiti right now. We will actually provide the military to protect you while you're making this wonderful transformation of Haiti into a Caribbean Garden of Eden. You have all the answers. Go down there and get it done.
Well, don't give them the military. I mean, these are the same kind of people that jump over the fence at the zoo and try to take a picture with a lion thinking they're nice and cuddly because they're in a zoo. They don't expect them to ever get attacked by the things they think are, important to them.
Don't bring that up.
Have you done that? Why are you feeling embarrassed right now?
We had a tragedy here in Naples about a year ago. I think it was about a year ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the cleaning crew at the Naples Zoo, which is really a very fine zoo. We're members. The cleaning crew went in there in the middle of the night, and they're supposed to be cleaning toilets. But instead somebody, look at the tiger. And he decided to go jump over a safety fence and walk up to the fence around the tiger and stick his hand through the fence to pet the pretty tiger. The pretty tiger grabbed his hand, and this cleaning guy started screaming and yelling, "Here come the police," after a while. Now, what is the proper response there? Hey, bro, it looks like you're going to lose a hand.
And then some of those clowns will want the tiger to be put down as if he did something wrong.
The police shot the tiger.
Of course,
yes.
I knew it.
There it is.
Exactly. It was a rare tiger.
Like
and
Harambe.
The police shot it. Yeah. I think his name was Echo. I don't know what his name was. I don't maintain that relationships with tigers. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But that's what the left does with these immigrants, right? They come over and they're surprised when they attack or kill someone. But that's the nature of what these people are. They're coming from prisons. They're cartel members. This is who they are.
You knew I was a tiger when you stuck your stupid hand through the fence. The police should have come up and say, "Which hand does he have?" "My right hand." "Hope you're left-handed, pal."
Yeah.
R.I.P. Harambe, by the way. Neil Woods is our guest on the Morning Extra. And Neil, let's jump into something from yesterday because I want to get your take on it. 9-0 from the Supreme Court. And again, this is where the situation where Trump will be able to appear on these ballots. Essentially, that is now the threat from Maine or Colorado, Illinois essentially goes away. What were your thoughts when you saw, at least for the most part, the mainstream media starting to lose their mind over 9-0?
Well, it made me look forward, although I certainly don't know if this country can survive a Trump presidency, and I know damn well it can't survive a Biden presidency for 4 more years. But it just it just really, well, look, let's go back and look at the founding of this country. This is a complicated legal situation to figure out. You know that the Constitution there's no right to vote for president, okay? No right. And the Supreme Court ruled that in 2020. So that's, or was it 2020? Yeah, that's not so darn long ago, the year 2000. There is no right to vote for president of the United States. And if we'd paid attention to that, so the president is elected by electors, okay? Who, under our Constitution, figures out who the electors are going to be? The legislatures of the various states. They can choose these electors any way they want to. The legislature in the state of Georgia could make a determination that the staff of the on-the-air staff at Extra 106.3, they are going to be our electors in this election. Period. End of story. The Supreme Court can't do a damn thing about it. That's the way the Constitution is set up. So how then do these justices say, well, this is really a federal situation, and the states can't have this influence? Well, wait a minute. Under the Constitution, the states decide who the electors are. And if the states are in control of the electors, why did they suddenly lose control of the whole presidential election process? And so, look, I'll say it again. Trump is a prepuce. But if it's an election, if it's a contest between Biden and Trump, I'm going to vote Trump. With Biden, the international community will know we have a weak president and that they can bully us and do whatever they want. With Trump, the international control will know that we have a slightly unbalanced president, and they might be afraid. They might be afraid to do some of these weird things internationally for fear that Trump is going to give them a nuclear enema.
But Neil, and I get it, and look, I love the fact that whether they think he's crazy or they think he's strong, they don't do anything while he's in office. There were no wars started under Trump, and now there's 2 under Biden. So that's the thing. They say he's unhinged and he's going to start World War III, but he didn't.
I'm afraid, and this is bad on me, okay? This is not good, Neil, not good. I'm afraid that much of my opinion of Donald Trump is colored by my personal relationship with him that happened back in the 1980s.
I get it. And then look,
that colors a lot. If I'd never met him, if I'd never had to work with him, if I'd never had to negotiate or participate in negotiating a deal with him, I might feel different about the guy.
Yeah, I don't think that I like him. I don't know that I think he's the nicest guy in the world. I don't think he's there's none of those. I don't have any of those illusions. I don't have any personal experience with him like you do. But I don't have any illusions that he's like the greatest guy on earth or anything. You know, I just do believe that he is very smart. He's very savvy. I do believe he loves the country. No matter how chaotic he is, I do believe he loves America. I don't know that Joe Biden does.
Well, we knew that Barack Obama didn't.
That's right. And
very much so.
And Biden's an Obama disciple.
Biden is under Obama's control.
As of yes. And whenever that's pointed out
on the air, I used to ask the question on the air, And over all the years that I did this, not once did anybody ever come up with an answer. I love asking questions that nobody can answer. Name one single person involved in raising and nurturing Barack Obama who loved America.
Can't do it.
Name one.
Can't do it.
And nobody could ever
Jeremiah
do it.
Wright.
His mother, Stanley, hated America. His father hated America. Just don't get me started.
But how did he win the first time? The first time he won by making America or pumping up America, saying this is the only place in the world. I mean, he ran on an America first kind of policy, and the fact that, he was black kind of energized too, but it was an America first. Only in a place like this can a man like me run for the office. That was a pro-America talk, and then switched it to the anti-America for the second term.
So, I mean, he was eloquent, wasn't he? You got to give him credit for that.
Well, he hid his intentions. And we're got to remember the era. We're coming through an era where we have two active wars going on, and the perception of the United States is we're the big bully on the world front, and Barack Obama represented the guy who was going to help find America's path once again and to apologize for what we had done on the world stage, and that was appealing because it was done in such an eloquent package.
Yeah, he was eloquent. Oh, Lord. But one of the greatest days, I was at Disney World, okay? The election of 2020, I was at Disney World. I was at Fort Wilderness, and I was sitting outside the Bortz bus. And if you open up one of the bay doors on the Bortz bus, you grab this handle, you pull out this huge flat screen TV. So I pulled it out, and I turned around, and I put a chair down. And I sat there watching the election results because the Queen was inside and frankly didn't want to get irritated by it. And slowly the crowd began to build around me. People brought their own chairs over there, sat down, and we watched that election unfold, and we watched progressives. We watched liberals just absolutely losing their you-know-what. And that was one of the greatest moments or evenings of my life watching that happen. That's how happy I was that Trump won. And then next morning, that look on Hillary's face when she, if I hadn't seen that, I'd pay $100,000 to see it. That was one of the greatest images I've ever seen in my life. And the one good thing about this election is if Trump wins again, and the way things look like right now, I'd say that's a high percentage. I look forward to progressives losing their Obama again.
And just screaming into the camera like they did.
I know.
Lighting cities on fire like they do.
Yes, that's right. They're so wholesome.
Speaking of the Bortz bus, okay, totally non-political.
All right.
But this happened to us one time in Interstate 15 in California on the way to Las Vegas, out of Newport. These storms out west, these horrific storms and Interstate 80 and people being trapped and they can't go anywhere, many of them in cars. Now what happens if the Bortz bus is traveling down a road like that and all of a sudden it's closed off because of a blizzard and 190-mile-an-hour winds, which we could withstand? We're sitting inside watching TV with the heat on, cooking a meal, 2 toilets, you name it. What do we do when people start banging on the door demanding to be let in?
I would think I would vet them maybe.
No, just let them in.
Oh, really?
No, heck no.
I think this is the moment where I go, let's start the engine and drive a little further away.
And
We
get out the
can't,
single shotgun.
What are you going to do? You're going to frisk every single one of them to make sure they don't have a weapon?
No.
Pretty soon you'll have 20 people sitting in there in every available space and a couple of people sleeping in your bed in the back. What do you do? I mean, and if you don't let them in,
you're the jerk.
And then it turns out like that Super Bowl party where you find frozen bodies outside your back door in the next morning.
Yeah.
So that's just an ethical dilemma that I've been thinking about watching the cover of those storms. But then again, we all know I have no ethics, so what the hell?
Yeah, so we're all good.
Neil, if I could ask about the board's bus, can I have it?
Look, I'm glad you're bringing it up to ask.
Wow.
If you don't ask, nothing happens.
Fair.
We started in a canvas-sided pop-up camper. And that was in the early 1970s. And we just kept working our way up. And do we love traveling? Of course, this summer we have to travel because we're doing a remodeling of our condo. And we have to empty the condo and be gone for 6 months.
So you're saying Carlos can have the camper from 1970 then?
I think there might be a mold. There might be a mold.
Yeah, maybe. They might have been using like asbestos in those at that point. You never know.
Yeah, that's not Neil's problem now.
That's it.
I'm certain we might be spending a good bit of time in Atlanta in the board's bus, maybe in one of those new resorts up 75.
Okay.
Let's go knock on his door.
I would love to come sit in with you guys, but the problem is you live in the middle of a traffic nightmare.
We'll send a car.
I'll tell you if we send a car.
We'll do something along those lines.
No. Even better. We will come to you and we'll bring equipment and broadcast from the board's bus.
No. You're not getting this.
But Neil, it's freezing out here.
Yeah, it's freezing.
We're going to die outside the bus.
He's
going
like,
to do a show.
It's freezing, and I'd say, they tell me that's a pretty easy way to go.
Everything just slows down and
slow down and stops.
Yeah, you kind of go to sleep. What the hell?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
It beats burning to death
or drowning.
Or
being eaten by a shark or a tiger.
And one more thing, why isn't Texas allowed to defend its own borders?
Well, it looks like Governor Abbott did his dadgum best to get it done, even if they're not.
Well, the Supreme Court doesn't like that.
Yeah, well, they're wrong in this case.
I think they are too.
Yeah,
I think that Texas ought to be. It ought to be legal for Texas, which was a republic and a separate country when it decided voluntarily to join the United States. They should have the right to deploy their National Guard and protect the borders. Boy, that would put Arizona in a bad place.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why Texas can't do that, and I'd love to see them do it. And there's a lot of Texans, Hispanic, white, you name it, that would be glad to take their pickup trucks right down to the border and make sure we're secure again.
Neil, you're seeing that very thing now that they've put up that defense, and Governor Abbott did. You're seeing the movement over to California, to New Mexico, and Arizona to try to come across the border illegally because there at least is some sort of barrier in Texas. So you're exactly right.
Well, Arizona needs more Gila monsters.
Okay.
New Mexico is a lost case anyway. Let them all go to New Mexico.
Okay.
And California, hell, if they all go to California, maybe that will facilitate California sliding off into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, well, Hank Johnson would probably agree with that.
Oh, my God, don't bring him up. We're going to be on the air for another 30 minutes.
Okay.
He's working on some rap music things here.
That's exactly right. He's saving rap music.
Yeah, his whole thing in Congress now is to preserve hip-hop.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, he's an aspiring.
Oh, God, where would America be without hip-hop? I just hate to think about it.
Look, I hate it too, man. I just hate that he's so busy and got so much going on. Neil, we love you, man. Thank you so much for laughing with us this morning.
Y'all be good.
Yes, sir. The Talkmaster only heard on Extra 106.3. When we come back, a Democrat senator seems confused on why Israel seems some sort of hell-bent on eliminating Hamas. We'll help her understand and take that confusion away next. On the Morning Extra, Tug Rhino and Los, we're on the air until 10. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
We have a professor, of course, from California, of course, Cal State University. This professor is telling us that it might be racist to be a Taylor Swift fan. That from Professor Melina Abdullah, professor of Pan-American Studies at Cal State, Black Lives Matter organizer, hip-hop scholar, you name it. Everything is racist, and Jussie Smollett is innocent. can't make this stuff up.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
You ever been sitting at the dinner table? Nice dinner with your family. I mean, you happen to look up at the ceiling and you see a little circle. You're like, uh-oh, what is that? And you get up there to see if it's wet. And turns out it is. Or it has been, because there's something dripping from the roof into the sheetrock in the ceiling. So what do? I mean, can you repair it? Maybe you can. Maybe go up there and find the leak. Maybe you go up there and repair the sheetrock. I don't have that ability. But the folks at Southern Exteriors do. They got you covered from A to Z when it comes to roofing, when it comes to siding, windows, gutters, you name it, they do it all, and they do not make you wait. So many places you call and say, hey, my roof is leaking. I got to get this thing repaired. I got to get this squared away. And they'll say, hey, yeah, man, we'll be out there in about, we can probably get you on in about 30 days, maybe 45. That's not the way it works with Southern Exteriors. They have everything they need to get your job started right away, to fix that roof, to repair everything that needs to be repaired for your home. They're based down in Jackson, Georgia, but they serve all of Metro Atlanta and have for over 20 years. So leaky roof, faded siding, drafty windows, or clogged gutters, trust Southern Exteriors to transform your home. And they're just one call away. 877-9-SOUTHERN is the number, 877-9-SOUTHERN, or southernexteriors.co. Don't mix it up and put .com, because that's not it, and that's an easy thing to do. So that's why I want to remind you, it's southernexteriors.co.
Everybody wants to feel like they're getting a good deal. That's why EMC Security customers love their monthly rate from just $16.95. In fact, for such a low price, you'd think you'd have to sacrifice service or quality. Not with EMC Security. You get it all. Low price, A+ Better Business Bureau rated service, lightning fast response, and flexible purchasing options, including their popular no contract option. Visit emcsecurity.com or call 770-963-0305 today to learn how you can get a free security camera with new activation.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for a new weekly radio show, Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. or find it online at thepodcastpark.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Hi, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Seniors Helping Seniors.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Terry, owner of Seniors Helping Seniors. After losing my father, my husband and I wanted to take our experience and help others in the community. Our mission is to create meaningful connections while fulfilling the needs of our caregivers, clients, and their families. Seniors Helping Seniors helps less active seniors stay independent, allowing them to live the life the way they want to in the comfort of their own homes. We offer companionship and socialization, light housekeeping, meal preparation, transportation, doctor's appointments, dementia care, relief for the family caregiver, and more.
We hire active, mature adults who have a better understanding of the aging process. It's like getting a little help from a friend. Please check us out at shsnorthwestatlanta.com.
What a tremendous opportunity that fills a need so many of us can relate to. Friends, reach out. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug Rhino and Front Office Los on the Morning Extra. Glad that you're here at 404-741-1230. If you'd like to jump in and get involved in the conversation. You got something to get off your chest, something to get off your mind, you're always welcome to do that. Whether you think that we are right, spot on in the things that we're talking about, or we're just crazy as all get out. 404-741-1230 or at Extra 106.3 across all the social media platforms. Israel going all out. And a Democrat senator, Los, cannot for the life of her figure out why they're so hell-bent on this.
I just wanted to have this on the show to draw Rhino off sides.
I knew
I'm setting Rhino up.
I was like,
this is strictly because I don't think that there's been any more two passionate people in this marketplace talking about Israel's right to defend itself than myself and Rhino. At the same time, Rhino's got much more skin in the game here.
Yeah, sure.
So when I saw this, I went, man, that's irritating me. It's going to make Rhino turn red, okay? So this is...
Don't leave me out, though, dude. I served with the Israelis, man. Those guys are incredible, and I love what they do, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. And when it comes to defending themselves, Israel's our biggest ally in the Middle East, and they have every right to do exactly what they're doing.
But you realize getting you to go race car in the red.
Well,
like,
no,
I gotta say something about Dwight Yoakam, okay?
Exactly.
Like,
What'd you say?
What'd you say? I'm coming after this table at you. Like, I know. Obviously, you're very passionate about this.
Waylon Jennings.
I just know that if you...
Rhino! Buddy, you got to leave.
You got to hop out. You got to take a 5-minute break here.
You can't even stay saying stuff like that.
So here is good old Tina Smith, Democrat and from Minnesota. So you know that's already it's a questionable area. Now remember, too, she has a lot of constituents that are Middle Eastern background, so she's going to play this game. Take a listen to how she doesn't quite get what the Israelis are up to.
And if that doesn't happen, then the president can exercise his full power to halt military aid. So I think this is an important bit of leverage that the president has with Netanyahu, who, as I said in the beginning, seems sort of hell-bent to continue this terribly destructive to civilian life battle in Gaza.
She's like, why are they going so hard?
That's crazy.
Why are they going so hard?
Why are they going? Okay, the floor is yours.
Yeah, seriously. I'm going to turn my mic on.
Because the same number that they continue to give. Look how many people have died in the past 6 months. Go back to what 6 months ago was. Go back to the date. And then tell me the date. I want you to say it. I'll say it for you because you're not here. October 7th. What happened on that day? 1,200 people, a minimum of 1,200 people, were just enjoying their Saturday with their families when somebody came across their border and slaughtered, raped, and beheaded their children. Why? Why are they going so hard? Well, here's another reason why. Because the group that you continue to defend is a group that is holding hostage the civilians of that country. All the ones that you care about, all the kids, they're not free. They're being held hostage by terrorists. And the only person who is trying to relieve the world, by the way, of these terrorists are Israel. So I don't care what President Biden wants to do for political cover for the progressives that won't vote for him because I know they're panicking. And now you're sending your VP out there talking about Israel and how awful they are because you're trying to bring them in. Enough's enough with them.
I have no love or respect for anybody that is willing to just look away from what happened in Israel. How can you look at what happened and go, that was okay. What they're doing in response, that's not okay.
Because you've been fed lies, propaganda. You believe children are dying there and that 12,000 were killed yesterday in an airstrike because the terrorist group tells you that happened.
Yeah,
and then they give you
so
a
much
picture.
Trust there.
Right. Then they give you a picture of them carrying the kid. Then an air raid siren goes off and the kid jumps off the gurney.
And runs.
See, this is like if we were to elevate the boogeyman. Okay, let's just say that there is a boogeyman underneath your bed, and you so firmly believe it that you keep talking about, I got a boogeyman under my bed. And then you're upset at your mayor for not dealing with the boogeyman underneath the bed. The reason why your politicians sound the way they do is because their constituents have been fed loads of crap and they buy into all of it.
Yeah.
And so Tina Smith, she's probably got a security clearance to know exactly what's going on over there. And yet she has to go on television and basically play to the crowd and say, I can't believe they're going so hard at the Palestinians. Just we said yesterday, if the Palestinians show up in your country, every other country in the area knows they try and take your country over. That's why they don't allow them, okay?
And all the surrounding countries, Jordan,
Right.
Egypt.
It was like they don't want anything to do with Palestinians.
And to your point, I'm glad you brought it up. The security clearance. She definitely has a security clearance. Everybody in the Senate and everybody in Congress has a security clearance.
They defend the criminals.
Of course they do. They know exactly what
Don't
they're
go
doing.
hard on them.
Saying.
They'll actually stop doing crimes. Don't be too hard on them.
So Tina Smith goes on a Sunday show and she basically does yes, there's boogeymen underneath all your beds and we're going to deal with them. I can't believe we're so upset at the boogeyman.
But we're going to get him. Don't you worry.
What are they going to sanction him?
Yeah, exactly. It's so irritating. It's debilitating. Right now, I got to tell you, man, you held it together nicely. You did not jump off sides on that one.
Yeah. I feel good about that. It was really hard not to. There's so many words in my head.
It's real progress. I'm calming down on
it's
that
a
one.
success on a Tuesday at 7:55.
I figured it'd be better to have a clean message than a beeped out one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It really makes it hard to do promos when he's cursing.
Exactly. Or stay on the air when the FCC's on the phone.
Oh, my God, we got to get off the air now.
That's right. All right, we will be right back. The SEC, the Secretary of State, rather, is disappointed with the Supreme Court for letting voters decide who's they're going to vote for president.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Almost 2 decades ago, when John Linder introduced the fair tax into Congress, and then John Linder and I got together and wrote a book called The Fair Tax Book, #1 New York Times bestseller, all categories. Talk about being blind to reality. I actually thought back then that politicians, if they saw something that would clearly be good for this country, they'd act on it. But no, For most politicians, Republicans and Democrats, the primary question is what's good for the politician, not what's good for the country. So the fair tax is still alive, but on life support. And the income tax, that monstrosity, is still with us. Here's some points that John Stossel brought out in a recent column. If you're an exotic dancer, which is another way of saying stripper, and you have to go out and get fake fun bags in order to increase your tips, the price of the breast implants is tax deductible. If you have an overbite, sometimes called buck teeth, you can get an orthodontist to write you a prescription for clarinet lessons. Then they will be tax deductible. Don't ask. If you have a watchdog for your security, the cost of feeding and taking care of that watchdog is not tax deductible. But if you feed feral cats in your neighborhood, the cost of the food you feed them is tax deductible. Whaling is pretty much banned now, but if you happen to own a whaling boat, you're eligible for $10,000 in tax deductions. The absurdity of it all. And we had a chance to change the whole system, but the politicians didn't want to give up their power, and the people didn't demand it. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
I think it's time to get rid of that old, ugly garage door.
Get rid of it? All it needs is a quick repair. Where's my duct tape and WD-40?
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors, and let us be the ones to tell you if you need a repair or a replacement. If you have a wooden or uninsulated steel door, a replacement will always pay for itself with energy savings. But if your door is insulated and not very old, put down the duct tape and let us come out to service your door the right way. Head to allfourseasonsgarages.com or give us a call today.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
To make a good, sound, logical, reasonable choice in this election, you have to look past the next 4 years. Whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, it's going to be a train wreck. You have to look past it at what Republicans might be able to do in the next election, what Democrats might be able to do, because I guarantee you it's not going to be two 80-year-olds running against each other again.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
He's 29 delegates closer to the Republican nomination. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump won the North Dakota caucuses, getting 84% of the vote now. On Super Tuesday, Voting's underway in 10 of the 15 states with contests. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports.
The Trump team says they expect an avalanche of delegates to head the former president's way. On Fox News Monday, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley said they just want to be competitive, that even while most of the country does not want to see a rematch between President Biden and former President Trump.
I'm a conservative Republican. I always have been. I always will be. I'm not going to do a third party. That's not anything I'm interested in. But these voices cannot be ignored.
Now, the Trump name is on the ballot in Colorado and Maine today after the Supreme Court ruled no states can remove the former president over claims he's constitutionally disqualified for leading an insurrection with the Capitol riot. In today's Democratic contests, Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports from the White House.
Their takeaway is that the longer Nikki Haley stays in the race, the better for President Biden. Meantime, there are 7 states today that have an uncommitted option on the Democratic primary ballot. That includes Alabama, Colorado, Iowa, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
A week ago in Michigan, 13% of Democrats chose uncommitted, protesting the president's support for Israel in the war in Gaza. Now, the U.S. is pushing for a ceasefire.
Negotiators from Hamas have been involved in talks in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Still no breakthrough and fading hopes of the fighting being paused before the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The plan on the table is for a 40-day truce, the release of hostages, and more humanitarian aid.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A small plane with engine trouble went down last night in Nashville, Tennessee. Before reaching the airport, police spokesman Don Aaron says it
crossed over the lanes of the interstate and then crashed there just behind the Costco on a grassy median of I-40.
The plane burst into flames. 5 people on board killed. America's listening to Fox News.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that. Free. Switch to Pure Talk today and get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot. Just go to puretalk.com/puretalk and claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Again, go to puretalk.com/puretalk to switch to Pure Talk today.
This is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No 2 situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Atlanta area attorneys. 404-793-0000. 1 Glen Lake Parkway Northeast, Suite 975, Atlanta, Georgia 30328. CordellCordell.com.
Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Yeah, I got your app. I live out here 30 miles west of Augusta. I'm so glad Conservative Talk is back on the air.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We made it halfway through the show. Glad that you're here. Thank you for listening to great conservative discussion throughout the day that begins with me. Good morning, Tug, my buddy Rhino to my right, and my buddy front office Los, Dr. Medina, as we call him, to my left.
He's got plantar fasciitis, by the way.
Yes, that's Rhino's struggling with this. He joined a softball league, and he goes out for the first practice. And this is a guy that has traveled many places, and like as far as like Las Vegas, right? For like World Series?
Yeah. Las Vegas, Portland, Oregon. I've played in Chicago, Minnesota.
So he's well versed at playing softball.
Columbus, Ohio.
It's been a few years, obviously. Been a few years since he's done it. So he thought he'd get back out there, and the first thing he does is like blow up his foot.
Running and catching a ball. I blow up my foot. I didn't like run into someone. No one like kicked me. It's like just a silly little thing.
Josh Donaldson had to retire with that heel.
Oh no!
Was that the reason he retired?
Well, it had been bothering him the last several years.
Yeah.
And Cole Hamels tried to come back a few times, Rhino. And he got hurt every time.
You're not really making. Not everybody like uplifting Dr. Los.
Dr. Medina.
In my professional opinion, it's time to treat your body a little bit more kindly.
Yeah. Maybe do a
shuffleboard,
pickleball.
You know who's the worst one? Is our friend down the hall, John Michaels.
Yeah.
Like he keeps going back to playing like adult league flag football and stuff like that. And that's why he's done an ACL. He's done both Achilles. Like, dude, you just got to lay off at some point.
Yeah. He was one who's like, you know what? I mean, just, in a few days, see how it feels. Get out there. I'm like,
That sounds like great advice.
I was like, thanks, John.
Exactly. That's why he's always banged up.
It's like, why are you limping, man? Permanently. Poor dude. He's done all the injuries. The one person I bring up was Danny Ferry when he was the general manager of the Atlanta Hawks. And they would have the media tournament. We'd always ask him, "You ever play in these?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I'm scared of tearing the Achilles."
Oh, wow.
Because basketball players who put a lot of work on their legs, eventually that thing will go if you keep pushing it.
So is this something, because, there's a lot of talk about Ronald Acuna Jr. and the thought about his knee and what they saw, and people are really upset that he went and played baseball outside of playing for the Braves, and that's the reason they're blaming him for getting hurt and all. It just seems silly.
Well, he did it the year before, and as he joked, and then I won the MVP. As it turns out, the results are back. It's inflammation. It's nothing. He'll be back for opening day. And opening day is in 23 days.
Yeah.
I'm cool with sitting that dude until opening day.
Absolutely.
Put him in bubble wrap, and we'll see you in opening day.
But if he wants to
bubble
play,
wrapping a lot of people today. But
how do you tell him not to play? Like, he wants to play. Do you not want a passionate guy like that?
Yes, of course you do.
I mean, for as many people who sit there and say that he kind of takes it easy in the outfield, I don't see it.
No, oh my gosh.
So it's hard to turn him to take it down a notch.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like in these spring training games, he's playing like it's the World Series. And you're like, goodness. Yeah, if you could just dial it back just a little bit. But you're right, Rhino. You don't want to mess with that passion. I mean, he loves playing. And he's the reason we love going to see guys like him. Like, that's what you pay for, is a guy like that goes all out, that's so flashy, that's so much fun to watch. Dude, there's nobody better than Ronald Acuna. I love him.
I hate to say it, and I love the guy. I want him to play every game he could possibly play and be healthy and all that. But you know what? If he does need to take a break and he needs to take it easy,
in the summer,
let him, because when I look at this team, this guy could come in at playoffs and win the World Series with us and never play a game during the regular season because we have so much depth. He is not the end-all, be-all for the Atlanta Braves. Even Roth, jeez, boy, I just went back to 1995.
I was about to say, were you going to go like Rafael
Ramirez from 86.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you would have been early 2000s at that point.
Yeah, right.
But even Ronald, I mean, as great as he is, there are other guys on this team. We're still a good team without him. Let him relax. Let him play the game the way he wants to play. He's earning every dollar we're paying him.
See, I think it's got to be more of a father figure role that Brian Snitker takes. It's like, look, buddy, we're going to give you the day off. I know you don't want the day off.
Right.
You're taking the day off. I'm taking you out of the lineup today just because you've been going hard. We've been 10-game road trip. When in the middle of summer, I think it's going to be one of those things where he has to make Acuna sit.
Sure. Or have somebody else, maybe a chipper, get in his ear.
And advise, whatever. However you accomplish it. But you're going to have to sit him down.
You have the best lineup in baseball for a reason. You can't afford to ice a guy every now and then and say, hey, we're just going to get you off your feet.
I'm not saying do the NBA thing where they're going to
but they make it a point. Night. If you're going to have this issue going on early on in the season, just be cognizant of it. Maybe you get a chance to DH here and there, but just take care of the legs. It's going to be March, April. This is nothing.
Because if I'm Matt Olson, I'm like, look, even I'm getting, a little bit of help over at first. I'm going to take a few breaks, and all I do is stand here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you're running around the outfield.
I'm not tracking down balls like a rabbit in the outfield.
I'm not taking away from his glove and him picking things over at first. Great job. But in relation to what he does in the outfield, take a day off, bro.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I think that's something that the Braves will have to look at. And I expect that they will, because they realize it, too. They're smarter
How many of us ever wanted to take a day off? It's something that we love.
Nobody. I mean, you're the perfect example of it. You didn't want to take it off, and you hadn't played in, 5-6 years?
I still haven't told him I'm not going to be there tomorrow night.
That's right.
He broke
his... I can tell him. I can tell him because you can't walk.
I was like, do you want Mama to make the phone call for you? I'm like, listen, you broke him on day one. Yeah. He can't even walk around the office.
I'm going to go find some wraps, wrap it up real well. I think I'll be fine.
Dude, you won't be. You'll literally have to miss a week of work.
You guys will be like, see me wheeling in on Thursday.
He's going to come in here. He's going to be like, take the leg.
It's just
too much pain.
As he sits on his rascal.
He's going to be calling up, Kimmer, shoot me. Put me down like a horse.
This is all a plan.
Have mercy on me.
This is all a plan to get that Howard Brothers e-bike.
That's exactly right.
Well, I can't even walk anymore. Can I just have the bike so I can take it to and from. Yeah.
That's right. Do you think the kind folks at Howard Brothers maybe hook him up? I mean, maybe.
Well, maybe we
you
find
know
a little,
them the best.
Yeah,
like a rental.
I can make a couple phone calls. I would say that maybe we think more of like a rascal.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Because that e-bike
Rascal?
goes fast.
Did they sell rascals?
Throw me on a zero-turn mower. I'll just ride that back and forth.
He's just going to ride a mower back
At least you
and
can
forth.
get some things done.
Yeah, I'll mow the battery while I'm here.
That's right. You see Rhino headed up Cobb Parkway.
Oh, yeah.
On a zero turn.
Opening day, the grass just says Rhino.
That's right. You just carve your
And it's
name.
cool
on it.
when you see the ones that have the shifting where it's just you're turning
Yeah.
it like looks like it's some sort of tank. You're like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, those are so cool. I would ruin somebody's.
Oh, here comes Rhino.
There he
Yeah.
goes, Rhino. Slow down, buddy. Slow down. I would ruin somebody's flower beds with those.
Oh, really?
Just because I'm
no,
not
no.
coordinated.
You would get.
I'm not very coordinated, man. I'm telling you, I'd be trying to make a right turn and then run right through Mama's flower bed, and she would have my hide.
Oh, they are one of the best things to mow. I could never mow a lawn again on a riding mower lawn if it wasn't zero turn. I love it.
When I was
I
a
go
kid,
around those circles, man. It's so much fun.
When I was a kid and wasn't, like the days that your parents say, no, you can't ride the four-wheelers or whatever, I would just get on my daddy's riding lawnmower and play Dukes of Hazzard on that. Man, I would do my best to pop wheelies on the lawnmower like I would just let off the clutch,
Yeah.
I would do anything I could to
Did you ever jump it?
Well, no, I mean, just the fact that I would take a brick and then like a piece of plywood and it never worked out real well, and all it did was just make the whole it was just bam come down. My dad's like, "What the hell are you doing?
I whipped your butt.
You're gonna ruin my Murray."
I'd have whipped your butt.
Yeah, no, believe me, he was like, "If you ever do that again, I'm never gonna let you ride that lawnmower again." And let me tell you, I loved it. I
also would like to thank my grandfather, and he passed away. But one of the things he taught me, and it was by his mistake, is never ride the riding lawnmower head first down a hill. Always let the weight of the battery in the back go down first because he rolled that over.
Absolutely. Blades are going.
There's that lesson.
Absolutely, dude. I'm telling you, life experience is worth it.
Yeah.
Listen to those guys. They know what they're talking about.
Absolutely, man. When they tell you something, listen. I never did, and now looking back, I'm like, why didn't I listen? Why was I so hard-headed? Why did I just not listen? And I never did. And so nowadays, I'm trying to catch up with all the wisdom that I lost with my grandfather's passing, much like yours. And my dad passed this year, 5 years ago. It is tough, man. But that wisdom is irreplaceable. There's not a college education or any kind of education that is better than that life experience that our parents and grandparents had. And if you are young right now, listen to the people that are talking to you, because they're and the other thing is they have your best interests. They actually care about you, unlike the rest of the world who couldn't give a crap.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're not always the nicest about it because some of them are cranky. You
dumbass.
You dumbass.
That's right.
But that's what you don't want to be called a dumbass. So you're going to figure it out. and you're going to make sure you don't do it again.
Absolutely.
But I've learned so many lessons. With my grandfather and my father, and always being handy. Like my grandfather with learning about tools that they used and learning how to use them, and like a hand drill. Oh God, I still have his tools. I still use them.
I love that stuff. Do you think the folks in Colorado, or maybe even the other states, do you think they'll listen eventually? Do you think they'll see what has happened and be like, maybe we were wrong about all this? Maybe this is not constitutional.
No,
of course not.
No.
Of course not.
Those stupid old people. They never.
That's right.
They never even knew I could be a woman.
That's right.
I told you to start this show when you had the state of Colorado and it went through their highest court, and yet they decided to do something that was completely wildly unconstitutional. When we had Neil Bortz on the 7 o'clock hour, he started talking about the states and their relation to the federal government. But first and foremost, the Constitution is the overall law of the land. If it's in the Constitution, you cannot violate the Constitution. And the 14th Amendment clearly says if you're going to try and have somebody stay off a ballot, essentially, they have to be an insurrectionist. It has to go through Congress, has to go through the federal government. Colorado had no leg to stand on, and yet those people tried to burn down this entire election. And you think they're going to stop right there, or they're suddenly going to gain sanity?
Not a chance of it. There's no doubt in my mind that other states are going to try other tactics, Rhino. they'll go in and find obscure laws, like Letitia James in New York. They're doing their best to find obscure laws that they can kind of back in. Talk about backing the riding lawnmower down the hill.
Yeah,
they're backing into, okay, how do we use this to keep Trump off a ballot, or to damage Trump, or to put him in court to tie him up so he can't run?
But you know what? When they go down the hill, they're still going forward. That's the problem.
Because they didn't listen.
Right. And the Constitution is them flipping over and it landing on them and turning up their argument.
With blades just spinning.
That's the problem for them, is they have no respect for the Constitution. They have no respect for the republic that they built, or that we've built, because they want to build a democracy. They want to build what they think is a socialist democracy. They will try anything. Now, I don't know if the states will continue down this path, because they know now that it's going to get turned over. So the new game is, okay, well, we're going to make it that Donald Trump is guilty of an insurrection without any kind of trial, without any kind of evidence, without any kind of anything. We're just going to go ahead and say it was and try to get it through the House. It ain't going to work, because
no, of course not.
You can't impeach him. He's a citizen. But they're going to continue down. Listen, this is one of many pieces of spaghetti they've thrown at a wall.
But look at what's happening on The View. I mean, you got Whoopi Goldberg. She actually admitted that what would happen with the Supreme Court, what did happen with the Supreme Court, was right. She admitted it, but it still ticks her off.
Bothers me about this, and I know it's probably the right decision, but I don't like that we've normalized this man.
Yeah.
It has really irritated the poo out of me.
Yeah.
Normalize this man.
Furious
he
about
is
it.
a normal man. That's the problem with you people.
But dude,
hold on.
She said they did the right thing.
Can I normalize, in the interest of my career, taking on a Jewish name so that you think that I'm Jewish?
Yeah, right.
Because that's what Whoopi did.
Sure did.
All right.
Would that be called Jewish face? What do you do?
Is that cultural appropriation?
That's what I was
in order for her to try and make it the 1980s, she was like, I got to make sure that my name looks more Jewish.
Yeah, no tug. It's not Jew face.
I mean, that's what they call it, right? That's what woman face, green face, when you're pretending to be an environmentalist.
No, but you're right. It is cultural appropriation. She did it to advance her own career.
But think about how she's talking about normalizing these things. Normalizing these things, and yet you sit in this chair.
You sit on a chair of lies.
And you're trying to pretend that somehow we're normalizing someone who got, what are we now saying? It was 77 million votes, and you're sitting back saying, how do I only have 50,000 viewers? It's because what you're spewing out there is not as much as what these other 77 million people believe in.
Do you remember when Trump's wife put blackface on? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg with Ted Danson.
That's easy.
These are the people who have those same rules. Like, for me, it's funny because, I'm Whoopi Goldberg and I can make it funny, but if another human citizen or anybody else that I disagree with politically were to just say something, then I'll label them as the racist. This woman's a racist. She's been a racist. She's not happy with it. Okay, I get it. But normalized? This man is normal. That's the fear. This is a normal citizen who's tired of the government. That's the fear. You're just a sheep in their herd.
See, Claire Lane Johnson felt like that might be awkward in Hollywood. Create the pseudonym Whoopi Goldberg.
Worked.
There you go.
It worked?
Yep. And it worked. And it worked for comedy. It worked in everything that she had done moving forward. These people are just angry because after they got to the point where they were able to snake an election in 2020, and after they went with all of the lawfare, they really thought this thing was over with. They thought we got past the Trump threat. Now that it's right back in their face and their gladiator is losing badly. The polling shows that Joe is down in every swing state. They're now freaking out, thinking to themselves, oh my God, what do we have to do to take this guy out? Because nothing has worked. The law has not worked. Pop culture has not worked. The impeachments have not worked. What do they have left? And all they have left is their own anger.
It's funny because Whoopi even said, and I can't get away from that, and the fact that she said what they did was probably right. But I still hate it, and I'm still mad, and it still irritates the poo out of me. And so gather yourself and realize that your perspective is entirely wrong. Yeah. And you just admitted as much. So get over yourself.
Well, I mean, the poo's come out of her mouth so many times. I'm surprised that she's upset about this at this point. I mean, you hate Jews. You said it about them. You basically said Jews are just like, they're white people fighting with white people.
She got pulled off the show for comments that clearly she did not understand the relationship between Nazi Germany and the Jewish people.
Yeah, which I'm upset seeing that she's Jewish, and I'm still upset that she culturally appropriated being a nun as a Jewish woman, but whatever. This is something that they continue to do. They know they lost this. They know that they're going against the Constitution. She knew in the back of her mind, so did every other woman in there, that this should have been a 9-0 victory from the get-go. But you have to continue to go on the fact that, yeah, even though we did it illegally, even though we did it in an unconstitutional way, remember, the bigger picture is this man is bad. This man brings World War III. This man's a threat to democracy. This man's a socialist. This man is bad, bad man.
You have to start, the very thing to start with is, tell me what court has there been anywhere in the country where there were insurrection or rebellion charges filed against Donald Trump?
None that I'm aware of.
The answer is zero. So it very much starts with, sorry, there's no case
you
here.
start from the fake premise. I mean, where are you going to get facts when you start with fake?
You start from an emotional place, and that's the very start. Whenever they start getting angry, you just say, tell me the court that this happened in.
Donald Trump roasts Joe Biden after the Supreme Court's 9-0 ruling in his favor. One liberal, not Whoopi Goldberg, as we showed you. She even admitted that it's probably right what they did. But one liberal, holy cow, took over social media with his meltdown. It was a sight to see. We'll talk about that next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. Until 10 here on Extra.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
My wife and I were in Charleston this past weekend, and they had this really cool wine bar. We're like, man, downtown Alpharetta needs one of those. It'd be so cool to go hang out there. And then we went through the dreaming process. Like, what if we started that? What if we did that? I don't think either one of us are brave enough to invest our money or to take out a big loan to launch this new business. We were just dreaming about it. But you're a business owner. You've already made that leap. And now you need the money to grow your business. And most banks aren't lending. If you've tried to get a loan, you probably already know that. First Liberty Building and Loan down in Noonan, the Frost family, they can help. They know the ebbs and flows of business. They understand business. They've been doing this since the 90s. Lending money to people that need the money in the capital to expand their business, to grow their business. Let me give you an example. And look, it works here in Georgia, of course, because they're based here in Georgia, but they do it across the country. Like this one is an entrepreneur in Dallas, needed $3 million to refinance a warehouse there. Other lenders declined it because the business had historical losses. But he had another facility where it showed sufficient profit to cover the debt requirements of both. First Liberty Building and Loan were able to approve a loan that allowed him to show increased profitability, and they extended the terms and the rate. All of that can be done on your behalf. You can do the same thing. You can grow your business, buy a building, build a building, franchise, whatever it is you're looking for. You just got to reach out to the Frost family at First Liberty Building and Loan, FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
The 2024 season is just around the corner, and the Braves' home schedule is jam-packed with great matchups and even better promotions. The Braves open at home against the defending NLCS champion Arizona Diamondbacks April 5th through the 7th, followed by the New York Mets April 8th through the 11th. And on April 8th, the Braves will honor the 50th anniversary of Hank Aaron's record-breaking 715th home run with a special Hank Aaron bobblehead giveaway together with Truist.
It's gone! It's 7:15! There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Visit Braves.com/promos to get your tickets and check out all the fun planned for this season. And April is a perfect time to bring a group out to a game. Come experience the new Jim Beam Bourbon Decks in left field and the brand new Blue Moon Beer Garden at the rooftop in right field. Visit Braves.com/groups to see how your crew can snag one of these brand new spaces this season. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here. And with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is to protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
Tug Howard, Scott Rhino, and Carlos Medina get your day started with Atlanta's only live and local conservative talk on the Morning Extra.
We just talked about the craziness of the Colorado Secretary of State and the fact that they, pushed Trump off the ballot. They knew that wasn't going to last. And then you go to the Supreme Court, and it's a 9-0 victory for Donald Trump. This is the kind of craziness that goes on in Colorado. Let me add to it. A burglary suspect was literally caught with his pants down by Colorado police. He was using the toilet. Listen to these officers reacting. Yeah, the burglary suspect, when the police show up, he's trowed down sitting on the john. Yeah, clearly had to go.
You got to go.
This is the officers talking about the alarm going off and catching the suspect sitting down.
Michael, please, show me your hands. Hands up. Hands up. Stand up. I've already made it. Stand up. Walk this way. What's that? Walk towards me. Yes, sir. Keep your hands up. Stop there. Stop there.
Stop right there. Can I finish, dude?
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this
You
video.
sure you want me to put my hands up? I was almost wiping.
Yeah. Like the police, this is the body cam footage. They come in, and I mean, they got long guns.
And he's making a point of like, I got to finish this.
He's like, but I'm sorry, I know I robbed the place, but you got to let me finish. Y'all arrest me in a minute. But I'm sitting down and I can't get up. Look at this dude, Los. Look, right here. There's the video right here.
He's awesome. He's just waving.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, guys. I know.
He's got the light on. Yeah, you got me.
They even had to put the black bar across because when he stands up, I mean, it's everything.
Stand up.
Right, yeah. And he comes walking out like a 4-year-old. You remember when your kid was like 4, not even 4, when they were young, when they were potty training, and they would come out and they would just shuffle out of the bathroom and they would have their pants down to their ankles, and you're like, oh gosh, go back in the bathroom. We have gas. Let's fix it. Let's clean this up.
Can I be honest though? If I'm one of those cops, I'd be like, listen, I want you to put your hands up, but first go wash them. Go wash your hands.
That's right. I will keep you
I am not handcuffing you like that.
That's right.
And then to follow the similar trend, you would then call that poo face if you were Tug. You'd be like, oh.
I say one thing wrong, and then the pile-on begins.
Was it called Jew face?
What? I mean, everything. But tell me,
was he making poo face?
I mean, am I way out of line with that?
I get you, because they talk about...
Am I?
No, not at all.
Okay,
no. If you use the K word, maybe.
What's the K word?
I can't talk
you
about
can't use that one.
What are you kidding? It's the...
Dude, you have to spell this out for him? He's got this giant look of like, I don't know. What do you mean?
So it came from when Jews came here to Ellis Island. Instead of an X, we drew a circle, which is a keikel in Hebrew. A keikel.
Got it. Got it.
Tug is like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean,
spell it out for me.
Now, if you said that to my face, you know.
Oh, my God.
I don't know that I've ever said that word because I don't really know that word.
I think Jew face is like, I don't get offended by Jew. Like, if you call me a Jew, I don't get offended by the K word either.
But you're Jewish, so why would you get offended by
I'm not going to get offended by it. They think it's an insult. I don't care.
Why would that be an
Jew
insult?
face isn't a bad thing.
I just made a poo face joke and then open up this can of worms where suddenly Tug is having to defend himself.
Now, here's where it goes bad, right? Now,
rather be talking about Trump and talking about the Supreme Court.
Right.
Yet you've taken us down this road. My fault.
Now, if you use...
Cut us off on a
hop out for a few.
I'm going to explain your racism where it's okay and it's not.
All right.
Now, Jew face is okay. You're still good like that. Now, if you really want to, like, if you throw in nose, if you just take one part of the face and then add Jew to the beginning of it, then I think it gets offensive.
I got to tell you,
what did he put his Jew nose on? That would offend me, I think.
really need to brush up on my racism because clearly I don't know enough. I must have been sheltered as a child.
You need to write you a book?
Yeah, something, I guess. And I'm not perfect by any means, and I tell people that every day, man. I get it wrong more than I get it right. But I just didn't grow up with people using these racial epithets. And there's so many of them that I really, truly just don't know.
Yeah.
And I call it
it's weird.
naivety.
Naivety.
Yeah.
Yes,
call it that. Well,
naivety.
Naivety, something.
Dr. Lowe's?
Yes, Lowe's, can you help us?
Is it naivety?
I'm waiting to hop back in once we talk about Trump and the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we're going down the wrong path.
Yeah,
here.
we didn't mean to get all sideways, but I just,
It's my fault. I take the blame.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, you're the one who did this.
And you'll decide to teach a whole lesson about it.
That's right. Lowe's is usually the teacher.
And then I'm breaking it down to tell you which ones are offensive by saying the offensive word.
So will we?
We got 9-0 by the Supreme Court. And we're like, what should we do here?
Why should we talk about that? It's only the biggest story in the country. And we get to gloat about it a little bit because we knew, Lowe's, that it was coming. And that's the thing, is that once it happened, everybody was, over the moon, except for people like Keith Olbermann, who blew up social media. And he was talking about dismantling and dissolving the Supreme Court. It's unbelievable, this guy.
Well, we talked about, hey, ideally 7-2, it should be 9-0.
Yeah.
And when we got that, to see the amount of liberal media, especially people that are crazy like Keith Olbermann, calling out not just the women, but also the minorities on the court and giving them hell. It's like that is what that side does. They treat them all like allies, and then as soon as they do something that was done correctly by the law, got to turn on them.
And then, the fun part is, because, if you think about Ketanji Brown Jackson, okay, this is a very, very progressive judge. She saw it. She knew right away, and she made this. The funny part is now he turns on them. So again, we go back to the, and then that woman's like, I can't believe he's turning on me. We've been on. No, you put your hand in the tiger cage. And Keith Olbermann just bit you off because he's crazy. He's going to be who he's going to be. It's not going to change. But this is great. I think that Donald Trump handled this real well. And I love that he called out President Biden and he called out everybody of what they're doing to him and what they're doing to their political opponents in general.
Yeah, and basically Trump just said, dude, fight your own fight. Don't weaponize the DOJ.
Letitia James and Fani and deranged Jack Smith, what they should be doing is fighting violent crime. And that would lead me to the end. I will say that President Biden, number one, stop weaponization. Fight your fight yourself. Don't use prosecutors and judges to go after your opponent, to try and damage your opponent so you can win an election. Our country is much bigger than that. The other thing I say to President Biden, close the borders now.
Nothing he said was wrong. Everything he said was spot on, and that's what I think all of us would like to see. The country to not be weaponized against one side or the other, because at some point, your side is the one going to be under the microscope.
You want the pretzel moment?
Yeah.
So the administration is now doing their TikTok thing, and they're trying to appeal to Gen X, who is suffering in this economy more than anyone else is. Yet they've got one of their online warriors in Harry Sisson, who decided as soon as the ruling came out, I'm going to tweet out, insurrection sympathizer Clarence Thomas ruled that the insurrectionist Donald Trump can remain on the ballot in 2024. Immediately, the first response came from the persistence. It said, the ruling was 9-0, and you attacked the black man. Figures.
Right. Yep.
Because the trained Marxist that he is only sees one thing, color and conservative. And that was the first things that put him in the red.
That's the game they play, though. That's the game. It's all about pretzel. Race. It's all about racism. It's all about the pretzel. And that's the moment that they continue to have. They are going based on their feelings. This is all about feelings, not facts. It's always been that way. It's what makes them the 23% of those far left progressives like him, that they stay in that groove. They'll never move out of there. They'll continue to think that they know better than the Constitution that was developed and what it means.
It's crazy because I don't care that he disagrees with Clarence Thomas. Clarence is my favorite of the justices. Man, he's from Georgia. I think the world of him. I think he's such a wise man. I think he's where America needs to be. I think he's great for America. But it's funny, though, if the roles were reversed and it was me going after,
say you went after Sotomayor because of what her view was. And it was 9-0, and yet you decided to pick her out.
And they would be like, see this racism, this filthy nonsense. He's only disagreeing with her because she is a woman of color. And that couldn't be further from the truth. But with Clarence Thomas, you can't say that back to them because they would say, well, no.
You just like to play their game and just let them know, like, oh, it's interesting you attacked the one. It was 9-0 and you attacked the black guy.
That's the
reason. And they immediately because here's the fun part. They don't look at them as human, okay? Mm-hmm. They just look at them as enemy. They have totally stripped away all humanity from the people that they hate. So they can never see them as individuals, ever.
Which
never.
is in war. Like, that's what warriors are taught to. You're right. Because otherwise, humanity kicks in and you don't want to do the things
you may not kill who you've been told to kill.
Exactly right. But if you strip away the humanity, then you can go after them at any point in any way. And that's the way these socialists and communists think.
Well, sure. And they think, oh my gosh, that's somebody who needed our protection because they can't see any better on their own. They can't. The racist mindset of the Democrats, that's their route. See, our route's different. Our route, if this was, let's say it was Roe v. Wade and Clarence Thomas voted with the Democrats, we don't go and blame Ketanji Brown Jackson. We don't attack them. We go to our own and say, why did you vote this way? This is not what we want. We do it every day.
Chief Justice Roberts, all the time. Like, when he goes and goes the other way, I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
We even do it to our House and Senate. How many times have we said, these are the senators that voted against the Conservative Party or the GOP? These are the ones who voted against the American people. We're the first to call out our own members rather than going over there.
Rightfully so.
Because we already expect AOC and them to do what they're going to do. We also expect Clarence Thomas to uphold the Constitution.
Holding our own side accountable, I think, is the most important thing we can do because it gives us credibility. When you don't hold your other side, when your own side accountable, that's when people look at you like, well, when it happened the other way, you didn't say anything. It washes away any credibility you have, and that's why it's so important for me that we follow the Constitution. When Donald Trump gets back into office, God help him that he is reelected, that he doesn't go on some revenge tour that tries to sneak around the Constitution. I want him to go and do things the right way because I want our side to be held to a better standard because it gives us more credibility.
Why do you think I hate Operation Warp Speed in the way that I do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because we removed healthy guardrails from a program in order for both sides trying to win an election. And what we did is we end up ravaging people's bodies with a government-issued vaccine. Now, when you start straying away from your legal grounds and the morality by which they're built on, these are the accidents that happen. So whenever the law wins out, I'm always in favor of it. But I will always point out when I think something is lawless because it typically ends the same way. Death, destruction, issues going on.
That's right.
And I think we do that in a common sense approach, much better and critical thinking we use. Because the left will go against their own. We're seeing it right now with the crazy people on the ceasefire side not voting for their party. But their issues are a lot different. Their issues are they'll go after one of their Democrats and say, well, why don't you justify the killing of Israelis? Why don't you justify the killing of babies? Why don't you do these kind of things?
404-741-1230 is the number. Jessica's on the phone. Jessica, what is your child being taught about Clarence Thomas?
So I just dropped him off at school, and we were talking about it, and I said, this is great. We'll watch the documentary because I love him. And he said, oh, no, we're learning that he's a really bad guy, and he's about to be impeached.
What? Where? Or can you say where your child goes to school? Or just give
Roswell.
us... In Roswell?
Yeah, in Roswell.
Holy smokes.
Middle school in Roswell.
Well, did you first point out that these are lifetime... The only way you can be impeached as a Supreme Court justice is if you were to commit a high treasonous crime, basically. It's got to be a pretty severe crime.
That's That's what we talked about.
Good.
Yes, I told him we're going to watch the movie because the movie's great.
Oh my God! Are you ready for him to get suspended by giving them the truth, though? I mean, because they're going to come after him.
I know. That's what. Yes, waiting to figure out what all the teacher teaches him, because I will email the teacher. We will have a discussion about that.
See, that's fascinating. It's great for you. Thank you so much.
Keep in touch with us, too, and let us know how it goes, because we'd love to hear.
Keep us up to date.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is the importance of talking to your kids, though. You see where you find
stuff out.
It's in the car ride. It's where I find out everything that Liam's learning. I know that when Jacob was going to school, and I know that Carlos talks to his daughters. This is why we have to talk to our kids.
That's exactly right, man. And it's funny because if y'all remember me telling you, like Jacob would tell me, he was like, I know the political, this is when he was in high school, but still, he's like, I know the political persuasion of every one of my teachers, every one of them. It's amazing that kids just pick up on it like they do. And then he always said, you know what? I just go along. I just tell them what they want to hear, even though I don't believe it whatsoever. And that's what college has turned into, which is why it's useless and pointless. And people are working in fast foods jobs. Not that it's bad, but when you spend, $100,000 to get a degree and that's what you're doing, that tells you the worth of a college degree these days. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today, 770-GET-HEAT, or go to centralheat.com.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, March 5th. It's not just Tuesday, it's Super Tuesday for 17 states as they make their choices for their party's presidential candidate. Donald Trump took one step closer to securing the Republican nomination with a win last night in North Dakota. Former President Trump beat rival Nikki Haley by 70 points, securing all 29 delegates from the state. Trump now holds 273 delegates and needs 1,215 more to secure the nomination. Cobb County police have stated they received reports about a TikTok post suggesting the brawl that happened at Six Flags over Georgia was planned in advance. The video, titled "You Live in Atlanta and You Already Know What's Finna Go Down," March 2nd at Six Flags prompted investigations. Police have charged a 15-year-old boy who shot at police and was struck by return fire. The boy remains in critical condition at Grady Hospital. The GBI is continuing to investigate the brawl. And the Atlanta Hawks back in action tonight when they take on the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Tip-off scheduled for 7:30.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los, the Morning Extra until 10. Remember when Donald Trump said COVID was kind of like the flu? Now the CDC agrees. But the COVID cult, they're not letting go of their masks and their isolation. They refuse. Next on Extra 106.3, after we're done, it's the Glenn Beck program. Glenn Beck has Carol Roth, a former investment banker. They're going to talk about the Federal Reserve and why they've not lowered interest rates yet. Then after that, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton from noon until 3 until 6, local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Even if the federal government says you have to be a citizen to vote in a federal election, state elections can change their laws. We know municipal and city elections allow them to vote right now all over the place.
This is all about crushing and crashing the system. Basically, what they're doing now is they're putting on the public dole all these illegal invaders. And now they're putting their on American citizen workers, they're putting them on the public dole with unemployment. Pretty much everybody's going to be waiting for the government to hand in their check every week, and that will crash the system, and then they can bring in another one to replace it, like socialism. This is all part of the plan to crash everything.
And, of course, the bottom line is, if this all happens, which it is, there's no way that they would ever vote for a Republican like Donald Trump to stop it.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details. Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for a new weekly radio show, Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. or find it online at thepodcastpark.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
What's your retirement plan? Master Plan Retirement Consultants specialize in constructing plans designed to meet the challenges you could face over the course of a retirement. As holistic retirement planners, we cover tax, income, Social Security, legacy, healthcare, and long-term care planning. Our strategies are designed to maximize your retirement savings and income while minimizing taxes and protecting your assets from forces that could disrupt your retirement, providing peace of mind. A fiduciary advisory firm, Master Plan Retirement, works with you to create the potential for a sustainable retirement and a legacy to be remembered. Join us on our weekly radio show, Retirement Roadmap, every Saturday at 12 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 as we discuss retirement topics for today's financial environment. Episodes can also be found on YouTube and on your podcast platform. Find us at masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon from Solomon Brothers Jewelers, and we are here to help couples tie the knot this month with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every design you can imagine in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget or hand design the ring of their dreams. Remember, no matter the price, you'll find something nice. So don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City. Or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, Jimmy Fela, and Guy Benson. The biggest lineup of conservative voices in the South are on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug Rhino in front office Los on the Morning Extra until 10. The app is the best way to listen. Encourage you to download that free for Apple and Android. That way you can listen in the car, you can listen in the office, you can listen at home. I know, like for Los and I live North Fulton. Los lives South Forsyth, and up 400, we're good to go. But kind of once you get off the exits, like I'm at 10, and Los, you're 13, is that right?
Yeah, well, I get to God's country, and you go into Satan's land. And at that point...
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
We both lose it, but in God's country, we keep it a little longer.
That's right. So anyway, the point being... If you have any sort of issue listening to Extra 106.3 at 106.3 FM or 12:30 a.m., then get the Extra 106.3 app because it alleviates that. I know for Los and I, we listen on the FM frequency going up 400 once we get off the exits, me in Satan Land and him in God's country.
That's right.
Like we just tune in the app and we're back.
We're good.
We're back. We're back, baby. And then, Rhino, you don't have any, in Ackworth, you don't have any trouble, do you?
No, like sometimes in the morning, like when I start my drive, I hear a little static until I pull like out. And then it's clear as can be all the way through Cherokee County up there by JD's on the lake there where they filmed Ozark and all that stuff.
Sure.
So, yeah, up there, I hear it perfectly fine all the way up to Sixes Road.
There you go, man. See, there's so many ways to listen, man. If you ever have any issue, then the app is the best way to go. And like I said, you can use both, man. If you listen at 12:30 and that's great for you, but then somewhere along the line it didn't anymore. Maybe you're going to Gainesville for a work call or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just plug in the app. And And it's just, it's hand in glove. One hand's off to the other. It's so easy.
I tend to listen on the app even though I can hear it anyway, because I am going to travel. I'm going to go place. And
habit.
In the afternoons.
That's for me, anyway.
Yeah, I have this bet before Christmas, and if it goes down and on air, I want to hear it. I don't want to lose connection at that time,
I know, but
this is why he hates you, too, by the way, because you've talked about his demise before Christmas.
Yeah. Well,
and I get it. Because I'm a Kimmer P1. If suddenly I didn't have Kimmer, I don't really have a plan in the afternoon.
Well, I ain't rooting for it. I'm just trying to make the money back. I'm going with the odds. I mean, Carlos, I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
I understand. We're just trying to make
prize pick, man.
Trying to make a little bit of money. That's all.
Yeah.
But on a man's death, that's
you can bet on a lot of things, Todd.
I know you can.
You can bet on a lot of things.
That doesn't make it right.
And I said, I promise I will. I told Kimmer this. I promise I will stand up and give the most beautiful eulogy around Christmas time.
We do not want Kimmer to die.
No.
I feel like we need to make that blanket statement.
But if it
even
does
though
happen.
Rhino is betting on it.
So when you were out last week, I talked about how Rhino has told everybody he can get a hold of a toe at any point. Okay, he's like, you want a toe? I'll get you a toe. It'll be just like Big Lebowski.
It's weird.
It's the same kind of deal. Man wants to get a little bit of extra coin right around the holidays.
Yeah.
Just making
Hanukkah's coming up.
Can you not bet on sports?
You know
Why
what?
does it have to be somebody
Are
dying?
you doing this because I'm a Jew face?
No.
Seriously.
Oh, I'm not.
Is this why you're questioning me?
Are you questioning my money and how I make it?
I'm telling you, it's talking about it's like you turned into a Democrat immediately.
I don't know if I can win
Easiest way
this.
to deflect you. Look at you now. You've backed down. All I had to do
Exactly.
is
See?
if I accuse you of racism,
It works. It
back
works.
down.
There's a reason they use it so effectively. It works.
Works every time. What an amazing trick.
So
no, Kimmer's going to be here forever. I know
Thank
I'm
you,
going to
Jesus.
lose this bet.
That's
and,
right. Good.
I'm going to play the. I'm going to flip this around and spin this as best as I can. I've never won a bet, so because I love him
there
so
you go.
much, I bet on it so he'd live past Christmas.
You're betting against yourself, knowing
of course.
what's going to turn. I see.
Yeah.
That's.
He's going to be a thorn in my side for another 6 years. That old man.
I love that guy and his freaking race car that he drives to work.
And his
Freaking
blood
amazing.
boy. I love him too.
That's right.
Old
I love Flounder.
We do love him. We love Pete. And
I'm a fan of Pete.
I
like Pete.
I think he's great.
I think that Pete helps keep the sanity on that show. When things start going a little bit awry, Pete's the guy who goes, let's reel it in a little bit, buddy.
Or I'm not saving you, because we've heard him say that too. You just keep on. I'm not saving you.
I will say this. I do have all of Pete's autographed books, pamphlets, whatever they are there. They're wonderful books. I keep them in my little library there. I love Pete's books, and they're great guys.
This
Listen,
is
3 to 6.
That's exactly right. Because Rhino is surely
they're gonna
expecting
talk
him
about
to die.
us.
Yeah. No, they do. They call us bastards all the time.
I don't know where
That's
comes from.
totally accurate.
And, well, wait,
100% accurate.
Wow, Stockholm Syndrome. Go ahead, fall into their trap.
Like I've accepted my programming, gentlemen.
Right, I am a bastard.
You're right. You're right. Well, it's all about programming.
Please stop hitting me.
I mean, it's okay. Continue. The people who have been just in this COVID, or if you're listening to my mom, it's COVID.
Yes.
Okay. You're in the COVID cult. The CDC has now said exactly what Donald Trump said to begin with. This is like the flu, treat it like the flu. And people just lost their mind. The CDC melted down. They censored him on social media. Now that they've come around finally, and they're like, yeah, this is the best way to do it, is just treat it like. But there are those people in the COVID cult that are not willing. They're mad at the CDC. They are not willing to give up their masks or their isolation.
I think it's great. And every time, like, all I think about is Carlos. And I laugh every time because they've been duped. And Carlos has said it all the time. They're upset that they've been duped into this. They are upset, but they continue to wear their masks. They went to, they were on the Capitol steps. They're everywhere with their masks, their signs. They are so afraid of what's coming. This big, bad COVID boogeyman.
The part that gets me is that, and this is partly due because where our society is at. I hate to make it into such a big deal, but you do have people longing for some sort of, whether it's a belief system or a community or anything.
Try church.
People want to be part of stuff.
Just try church.
Can you imagine that you found community and we're able to tell everyone that you're better than everyone else, no matter education,
very empowering,
socioeconomic standpoint,
right.
just by saying, I care more than you do, and I have on this worthless piece of paper covering my face. And this signals that I am better and care more than you.
Dun, dun,
And,
dun.
and that was hard to let go when you were told that doesn't matter and no, you aren't any better. In fact, you're probably worse off because you got this shot.
Well, the people that they voted for did this to them.
Yes, they did. Took advantage of
This
them.
is who did it to you. They've taken advantage of you, and I don't blame you.
They're not
I
listening.
don't blame you for being upset that you've been duped into this. I don't blame you for being upset that you're wearing the mask. I know how your stubborn, selfishness is, and now you need to go out there. Don't stop fighting it. I say you stay home during the election and protest the fact that they've done this to you. I say you stay home because it's not safe out there. All of you that are afraid of COVID, stay home today.
You just stumbled
And
across
forever.
something brilliant. Dude, we should tell all of those people, don't go vote. It's not
Don't
safe.
vote. It's not safe.
It's not safe. Do not leave your house.
And why would you vote for people who have done this to you and who've allowed this to happen
Or have taken it away from you? They've taken away from you.
Yes, they've taken your
Why do you think they
religion
were
away.
so angry at the CDC?
Yes.
I meant something to the world. Look what I did for you.
This was my outlet. This is my chance, my opportunity.
Is me.
Think about, they're not mad that the CDC played this game the entire time. They're mad that they didn't keep playing it.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770-GET-HEAT, or centralheat.com for a maintenance agreement or a great discount on a new Carrier system from your Atlanta Carrier experts, Central Heating and Air Conditioning. When we come back in the bonus hour, like what's happening here in Georgia, Trump's lawyers are going after another city's corrupt DA. We'll start the next hour with that after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Tug, Rhino, Front Office Los, until 10 here on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Almost 2 decades ago, when John Linder introduced the fair tax into Congress, and then John Linder and I got together and wrote a book called The Fair Tax Book, #1 New York Times bestseller, all categories. Talk about being blind to reality. I actually thought back then that politicians, if they saw something that would clearly be good for this country, they'd act on it. But no, For most politicians, Republicans and Democrats, the primary question is what's good for the politician, not what's good for the country. So, the fair tax is still alive, but on life support. And the income tax, that monstrosity, is still with us. Here's some points that John Stossel brought out in a recent column. If you're an exotic dancer, which is another way of saying stripper, and you have to go out and get fake fun bags in order to increase your tips, the price of the breast implants is tax deductible. If you have an overbite, sometimes called buck teeth, you can get an orthodontist to write you a prescription for clarinet lessons. Then they will be tax deductible. Don't ask. If you have a watchdog for your security, the cost of feeding and taking care of that watchdog is not tax deductible. But if you feed feral cats in your neighborhood, the cost of the food you feed them is tax deductible. Whaling is pretty much banned now, but if you happen to own a whaling boat, you're eligible for $10,000 in tax deductions. The absurdity of it all. And we had a chance to change the whole system, but the politicians didn't want to give up their power, and the people didn't demand it. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Well, Sally, thank you for your time, but unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
But why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and we saw some red flags.
Like what?
Apparently, you were accused of dog-napping a chihuahua named Mr. Cha-Cha.
Mr. Cha-Cha was my soulmate.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Xtra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
The polls are just opening now in Colorado. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and former President Trump's name is on the ballot, same in Maine, to the 15 Super Tuesday states after the Supreme Court ruled he cannot be removed.
We're going to get rid of Biden, the worst president ever.
The former president expects big wins today against challenger Nikki Haley after beat her by 70 points in last night's North Dakota caucuses. He tells Fox,
well, there's no path for her to win, whether she likes hearing that or not.
Nikki Haley's response on Fox a short time ago.
I don't know why everybody's so adamant that they have to follow Trump's lead to get me out of this race. You know, all of these people deserve to vote.
And Nikki Haley says she'll see where she stands after today's contest, again vowing not to run as an independent in November if Trump's the expected eventual Republican nominee. Now, President Biden is expected to easily win today's Democratic contests, and Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports from the White House.
The Biden team wants the media covering Trump's legal challenges, for instance, in the same way they covered the aftermath of January 6th. And Biden frequently hits Trump on being a loser, which has reportedly gotten under his skin, repeating this line again in a rare interview with The New Yorker. It says, quote, Trump lost 60 court cases, 60. The legal path just took him back to the truth that I won the election and he was a loser.
Today, the president is expected to tout a new so-called strike force, trying to lower what he claims are unfair prices on everything from groceries to health care, as the Biden administration proposes a regulation to cap credit card late payment fees at $8. Most cards now charge around $32. 5 people are dead in Nashville, Tennessee, when the small plane they were on crashed near a highway last night.
When our crews arrived on scene, they were met with heavy flames and fire.
Kendra Loney with the Metro Fire Department. The pilot had reported engine trouble and went down a few miles before reaching the airport. America's listening to Fox News.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Switch to Pure Talk today and get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot. Just go to puretalk.com/puretalk and claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Again, go to puretalk.com/puretalk to switch to Pure Talk today.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. They have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Atlanta area attorneys. 404-793-0000. 1 Glen Lake Parkway Northeast, Suite 975, Atlanta, Georgia 30328. CordellCordell.com.
It took 100 years, but finally there's a conservative voice you can trust. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 1063.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. This is the bonus hour. We like to call it the bonus hour because it was bonus to us, and we're sharing our content with you. And we are thrilled by it. When it was sprung on us, we were thrilled by it. And we couldn't be even more happier now because it's turned out so well. I'm just glad you're here for the bonus hour. I want you to know how much we appreciate you in the bonus hour. Now, we don't get paid any extra for the bonus hour, but we're glad to be here.
Well, you pondered leaving. Oh, well, somebody else is raising their hand about this. It's him. It's
I
Goey.
love the bonus hour.
Goey's like, I love the extra hours during the week.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Getting paid back here.
The rest of us, we're just here because we enjoy your company.
And we were told to.
And I'm like contractually obligated to be here until they say I can't be.
I don't know. That's you guys. I have a heart of gold. So I had said at one point,
I'm going to step forward.
I'm going to step forward
with my cape
because I love Joe and he needs that extra hour of pay.
Love you too, buddy.
You're welcome.
Who criticizes you the most on this show? Oh, wait, but he got you paid. Okay, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it's like a trade-off. It balances.
It's like a brother relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
He got you paid. At the same time, he's very abusive.
Oh, he's very mean to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all the weight jokes and the hair jokes and everything.
Terrible
Stupid mustache.
Yeah. Stupid mustache. Stupid mustache.
I go home, hug my mama. Rhino was mean to me
But
again.
Listen,
she's like-
mentors have to be a little
right.
mean
You
every
gotta-
once in a
yeah,
while.
you gotta
snap
be
them in place.
That door swings both ways.
Carlos did this to me when I came back over here at 680 and worked with him. And he used to hit me in the back and yell at me.
I would just throw stuff at him. Like if I had ice cream, I would just go like, ice cream.
Yeah.
And he had to clean up like every day. He's like, my God, why do I have all this stuff on me?
Sucks,
true.
man. I'm glad
He slapped me with a beef jerky. It hurt so bad for 2 weeks.
I had one of those.
Yeah, I had a little.
Yeah, like the Slim Jim style.
Yeah, but that's where he learned to really enjoy things like Twizzlers.
It's true.
Because I would just put it near his face and be like, Rhino, and he would just be, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I never know when to believe.
Press the button and
or what to
then I
believe.
get like a bite of the Twizzler at the end.
Because I feel like this story could have some element of truth to it. I just don't know. Because y'all been working together for so many years.
We did a lot of weekend shows
Yeah.
together. I mean, we probably did at least 2, maybe 3 seasons of NFL Sunday shows.
Over on our sister station,
Yeah.
Fan.
Yeah, so like every Sunday morning I would see Rhino and it would be like, here's the sheet. And I'd be like, well, here's the breakfast. You know,
Yes.
like,
All right.
and you got to understand, there was
Every
a good
once in a while,
guy.
Frank Duffy would bring stuff.
That's true too. He would bring some biscuits. There was a good cop, bad cop relationship. I was always good cop. Cellini's always bad cop.
Always.
So Cellini would be the one that was difficult to work with. I was the one to just show up to smile.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm just here to have some fun with Rhino and the guys.
That's right. And Nick, though, because y'all told me Nick Cellini, who does Cellini and Domino
11 to 2.
11
Yeah,
to 2
on our sister station.
on the Fan. Is this prior to him
Oh, no, he
toning down?
He mellowed out a lot.
Yeah,
There's
that
stuff that would 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There's stuff that would have been if Rhino and I had a small incident. It would have been like the show's over.
End of the world.
The computer's been thrown out the window.
Sure.
Good Lord.
We were hit with some kind of shrapnel.
Right. Yeah.
There's
Stapler.
nothing that gets me that worked up. Nothing.
Well,
that
when-
gets me that tore up.
When you're a little unhinged.
Yeah.
But I enjoy I enjoy my Cellini.
Well, yeah, but you want to enjoy it from a distance.
Right.
That way you don't get hit.
I was never caught up in that level of fire.
good.
Like I would just hear it sometimes and go, ooh, that's bad.
Do you kind of creep out in the hall?
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
ooh.
like when it happens in the neighborhood and you walk out there just trying to see what you might.
What are the neighbors arguing in the yard?
It's funny y'all bring that up because
You spy on your neighbors?
all the time.
Yes.
Don't you?
Oh,
He
yes.
just lurks in there.
Yeah.
He's in their weeds. Hey, what are you doing?
At our old house before we moved, we were in this cul-de-sac, and the neighbor, it was nicest guy ever, divorced, had a beautiful little girl that was about Jacob's age. They played a lot, and it was, every other weekend she would be gone, whatever. The mom had custody. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The dad had custody, and it was every other weekend that she'd be gone. And so one day, Laura and I look out the front door. It's maybe dusk, and all of a sudden, there's 6 cop cars in front of because they are at an angle to the left of our house.
Your neighbors are drug dealers.
No, but you didn't know what was going on. 6 cop cars, and then finally, moments later, after you notice all the lights, how can you miss it? There was we're surrounding the house. You must come out of the house and bring your daughter with you. And you're like,
Laura's screaming.
I have a question.
What'd you say about the government today?
No, they're screaming at my neighbor's
I
house.
know.
As a child of divorce, I have one simple question.
Yeah.
Was this Sunday?
It was.
Because it's always during the exchange, the drop off.
Okay.
Or that's when the parents get angry at one another over something, and that's when law enforcement gets involved.
Yep.
The wife called the police and said that the husband was keeping the child hostage in his home. that she had custody and they needed to rescue her.
Oh, and he has custody.
He had custody.
Oh, yeah,
the
she's
whole
a crazy
time.
person.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was a
Yeah.
Sunday night. So funny that you knew.
Do you know how many times this happens? This is, by the way, these are jilted lovers. These are the crazy people. This is what they do. They call CPS. They say and make up lies to hurt the father or the mother, whichever side, because that's what they are. They're crazy people that continue to do this.
And unfortunately, law enforcement has to get involved.
Yep.
But now,
They don't have a choice.
I never had any kind of crazy scenario like this. Sure. But I did come up in the Broken Homeboy Club. Like, I knew the other divorced kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And some of them did have scenarios like this. My parents were pretty amicable. It was, I'm with my mom, dad's the coach. They got along. They didn't get along. They got along for me.
Right.
It was different for some of my other friends. No surprise when there was a phone call and police at a Sunday evening.
The Broken Homeboy Club.
That's awesome.
Never heard that.
The Broken
Ever
Homeboy
in my
Club.
life.
That's what it was.
Never heard that. And so this dude,
we all gravitated towards one another.
My buddy, because I know him as a nice guy, and his daughter's, eating dinner with us, and the kids play all the time. And the dad is yelling out the window, "My lawyer is trying to call you. Answer the phone." And I'm in disbelief because I'm like, what in the world is happening? How could this be happening in the damn cul-de-sac?
So be honest,
Now
were you
you
sitting on the front porch though? Were
Yes,
you watching
I
all
never, because I didn't. Of course.
Did you get popcorn?
No, I
Why
didn't. But
not?
I was just
Oh, you
in
should've.
jaw on the
ice cream.
ground. Couldn't believe it.
But now you know.
Yeah, it's the Broken Homeboy Club.
Because this is a reality at times of divorced parents that aren't getting along well and they've got kids.
Dude, I grew up, my parents, until my dad died, they were married for 50 years. My mother-in-law and father-in-law have been married for 49 or 50. So it's just not. I mean, my friends.
You want to brag to the Broken Homeboy Club member?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I just never had the experience.
Why don't you just say it like, hey, maybe if your parents stay together, maybe they loved you.
It's not at all. They love you regardless of whether they love each other or not. I'm just saying I didn't have the experience, so I don't know. I just don't know what to expect.
Do you want to sit me down and ask me if I blame myself for their divorce?
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that your next question?
Or do you
Todd?
just want to flat out just say why? Why did you do this?
What did
to your
you do
parents?
to cause this?
What did you do to cause this,
You didn't
Carlos?
do anything. It was your parents who didn't get along. What are you talking
now we're
about?
Goodwill Hunting
now.
here. It's not my fault.
God. Oh, see, there's
Is that
no
what you're trying to
winning.
do to me?
There is
Wow,
no
Tug.
winning.
Jeez, Tug.
I feel
God, I'm
like
so offended today.
See, you can't
It's not
say
your
You're
anything.
fault,
horrible
son.
making fun of broken
Not your
You
families.
need a hug. You need a hug.
I'm fine. I'm hurting. I'm fine.
Yeah. God. You know, it's one thing to be anti-Semitic to me, but to take out on him and his parents?
I'm telling you,
God,
considering I had a relatively
Tug gave up.
chill upbringing from divorced parents. Again, dad was coach for like every team.
Sure.
Lived predominantly with my mom. That was that was fine. For other parents and other people that I knew that were part of the Broken Homeboy Club, man, look, maybe they hadn't seen dad in like 6 months.
Right.
You know, like there's other crazy stuff that would go on.
Sucks, man. Good Lord, I can't.
Joe, you're not safe. Wait till he comes and fat shames you.
Yeah, fatty. What do you got to say now?
What time was that? 9/11. Yeah.
Who knew that he would put on that black hat and this is what he would turn into? Thank you, Tug
This is
Tower.
where the cowboy rides away. No, but it was just crazy, and I felt so bad for my buddy because he came over and apologized to every neighbor in the cul-de-sac. He was like, "I just want you to know, I have custody of my daughter. My wife flipped out, or my ex-wife flipped out, and this is what's happened." And sure enough, man, after like 30, 45 minutes, like you just see like the police talking on phones, and they're like, "All right, boys, pack it up."
Yep.
I mean, they physically just was like, "All right, we'll
Let's get
holler
out."
at you later." Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a police scene.
Meanwhile, your poor neighbor is probably still shaking, probably dealing with all of it, because that's a lot for him to deal with.
He said it wasn't the first time it had happened.
Well, so he's used to it, yeah.
I don't know if you ever get used to it.
But I don't think you do. That's what people don't understand, what this does to the partner when these crazy people are allowed to call the police and allowed to call CPS and allowed to do these things and make up the lie, because it does happen over and over and again. And nobody steps in and says, hey, this is the 5th time this person has done it. You need to cut off all communication. If she does it again, you need to arrest her.
Yeah.
It's tough when you have to say I'm sorry to the neighbors. I have not been in that scenario as of yet. We typically ask for forgiveness when we have like a party. We say, here's what we're doing. But we even had a neighbor, and they've since moved. But the husband had pretty severe PTSD from his time serving in the Marines, and he would have episodes. And she would go around and just say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I know it got loud," or again, couldn't help it. It was a medical issue, but that's when it's tough when you got to go and say, "I'm sorry" to the neighbors. And it wasn't her fault. It wasn't his fault. It's just here's the incident.
It's life messy.
It's life
being messy. That's exactly what it is.
It's a pain.
Whew. I tell you, what a day.
Man, you've learned so much.
Dude, I'm telling you, today has been educational. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Today has been educational.
Yeah, for me too.
Sure.
Me too.
Didn't realize what you thought of us.
Well, now you know.
He hates all of us.
Now we know.
Now you know.
Here I am looking forward to my time off from the show, and I don't know what he's going to say when I'm gone in Florida.
Can't wait till he punishes us with a 5th hour of this.
I know.
As if I had something to do with the bonus hour.
I don't believe anything you say now.
You guys are going all the way to 11, and I leave at 10. You go to 11.
Turn it
we
up
are
to 11.
Spinal Tap.
That's exactly right. Let's freaking go. Yeah.
This makes sense, though, because I heard audio of somebody saying that, it's the Christians hate Jews, Jews hate Christians.
No, it's the truth.
Yeah.
That was oh my gosh. I put it in my notes.
Wait, that's the truth, or the sound is the truth? Not that we hate each other.
No, but that story is legitimate. I'm just trying to remember who said it. Michael Moore. Yes, Michael Moron said it. He was like, Jewish people need to be aware that it is white Christians that are your biggest enemy. It's not Hamas.
Look at you.
It's not Hamas. It's me.
Look at your comments this morning.
That's right. Absolutely.
Michael Moore seems right.
That's right. All of a sudden, Michael Moore looks like a dadgum genius.
But you know what the funny part is? Like, I've had more support from white Christians than I have anybody else.
Because if anybody reads the Bible, the Bible talks about Israel being God's chosen people. How do you argue with the good book? Like, people want to dissect it, people want to twist it, they want to turn it. Just read what it says and accept that, because that, I believe, is the Word of God. So I struggle when I hear Michael Moore say stuff like that, because it makes no sense to me. Not from the perspective that I've been raised, and not from the perspective of the churches that I've been to in my entire life. And yet he's a goon, a buffoon. Donald Trump's attorneys now are seeing what happened here in Atlanta, and they're like, wait a minute, we need to do this same thing in New York and go after Alvin Bragg, and they should.
They should, because, again, this is somebody who was put into a position and forced to bring these charges, bring what they needed them to do. I believe, this is my personal opinion, that they are, the Gestapo of the Biden administration. So what they've been doing, and this is what the Trump attorneys learned, especially from Fani Willis, that let's look into the background of these people. Let's look at what they're doing. Let's break down what they're doing, and then started looking at the laws and what they've done. So what Donald Trump's attorneys have done is they went ahead and sent a letter about prosecutorial misconduct by Alvin Bragg, which, again, I think is great. And it talks about Michael Cohen and Weisselberg. So if you don't know, Weisselberg yesterday pleaded guilty to perjury. And what he was, here's where the problem is. He was forced to plead guilty by them and threatened because he didn't perjure the first time, but he was found guilty. Now he's facing those times. So, of course, that's what they've said. So, basically, what this is talking about is, number one, the decision to turn a blind eye to the admitted and repeated perjury of the star witness, which is Michael Cohen, and then vindictive and an oppressive pressure and a plea negotiation saying, hey, we're going to throw you away forever unless you say this or do this. And that's what they've done with Weisselberg.
But doesn't that happen a lot? And maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But it seems like that happens a lot when they feel like they've got you over a barrel. They're like, we're going to throw the book at you. Isn't that the way plea deals work to begin with?
That's normally the game. Mm-hmm. Here's what I got on you. You know you're not beating this. Here's the deal if you want it. That's how the game is supposed to work.
Right.
And it seems like that it's the way it plays.
But that's a huge but.
That's right.
But the problem is that they decided that it was perjury because they didn't want to agree with what actually was happening, the evidence that was right there in front of them. So they forced him. They gave him an impossible choice of pleading to perjury crimes he didn't commit, while their star witness, they know and admitted to perjury, continues to. And then they forced him and told him that he's going to face arrest, face incarceration, and will continue to do that and continue to fight this because they will keep throwing the book at him. They've threatened him to basically plea on this because they knew they had him over the barrel, even though he never perjured the first time.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your Atlanta team for getting your homes outside perfect for spring. There's so much that you can do to the outside of your home, the exterior of your home, but you won't have to wait with Southern Exteriors. So call them today at 877-9-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, March 5th. It's not just a Tuesday, though. It's Super Tuesday for 17 states as they make their choices for their party's presidential candidate. Donald Trump took one step closer to securing the Republican nomination with a win last night in North Dakota. Former President Trump beat rival Nikki Haley by 70 points, securing all 29 delegates from the state. Trump now holds 273 delegates and needs 1,215 more to secure the nomination. Cobb County Police have stated that they received reports about a TikTok post suggesting the brawl that happened at Six Flags Over Georgia was planned in advance. A video titled "You Live in Atlanta and You Already Know What's Finna Go Down" March 2nd at Six Flags prompted investigations. Police have charged the 15-year-old boy who shot at police and was struck by return fire. The boy remains in critical condition at Grady Hospital. The GBI will continue to investigate the brawl. And the Atlanta Hawks back in action tonight. They're in New York. They're going to take on the Knickerbockers. Tip-off from Madison Square Garden scheduled for 7:30.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, Team Biden made a huge mistake by naming his economic failures. Then they made a second mistake by not securing the website. We'll explain. Next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Glenn Beck program after that. Clay Travis, Buck Sexton at noon. And then the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Kimmer Show, 3 until 6.
Atlanta radio legends are right here on Extra 106.3. And here's what you missed from Neil Bortz.
Joe Biden? His day starts at 10 o'clock. His day ends at 2 o'clock. He is not to be left alone, ever. Even his own Justice Department defined him as an elderly man with a poor memory. So he shouldn't have to stand trial for wrongdoings. Sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Poor memory, he can't even remember when he was vice president or the circumstances around his son's death.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon from Solomon Brothers Jewelers, and we are here to help couples tie the knot this month with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every design you can imagine in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget or hand design the ring of their dreams. Remember, no matter the price, you'll find something nice. So don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City. Or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers.
We don't just do foundation repairs. We set industry standards. Mark Beckham here, Atlanta Ram Jack. And while not all foundations are created equal, neither are foundation repair methods. That is why you should always turn to Atlanta Ram Jack for your foundation repair. We have 40 plus years of patents, innovations, and expertise, and we never recommend anything outside the scope of what you truly need. Simply put, we know how to get the job done right the first time. Book your free estimate at AtlantaRamJack.com today.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
Don't miss the Atlanta Mushroom Festival, Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's
Patrick's Day at Park Tavern in Piedmont Park. Beginning at 12 p.m. and ending at 7 p.m., this dog and family-friendly event features educational speakers, live music, and over 35 mushroom-themed vendors. Tickets are free with email registration or $10 for Comfort VIP, which directly supports the nonprofit festival. For more information, visit AtlantaMushroomFestival.com or Atlanta Mushroom Festival on all social platforms.
Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your system running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. So turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts for your system's maintenance at 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. With Central, you get Carrier products, Carrier warranty, and Carrier peace of mind. Plus, you know what's going to be here before you know it? The heat. It's allergy season, and Central Heating and Air can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation, locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. That's centralheat.com.
Start your day with live and local conservative talk with Tug, Rhino, and Carlos Medina on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
See, if somebody comes in talking about D. White Yoakum and says something bad, I'll probably lose my mind.
That's it.
That's my trigger point right there.
That's how to get you.
Although, a buddy of mine, and y'all know him, Scott Munn, he was a tour manager for Dwight Yoakam for one of his tours and said D. White is real hard to deal with. Like, you know, most
like
country...
diva or just...
Yes. Like, well, a little bit of control freak, diva, everything. All of it.
Because I wonder, there's people that are flighty. That, you know, hard to get them into some place, hard to get them on time. Then there are those that it's a diva oriented.
Yeah, I think there's that, and then some additional sprinklings of bad behavior and hard to deal with, and you know, like I said, just super control freak where it makes it like where everybody's hands are cuffed and nobody can do what they're paid to do because they're afraid to do it.
Dwight Yoakam is an a-hole.
So I think that's what it comes down to.
There are people, and I respect it when I don't have to work with it, where they're a level of perfectionist, but there is no such thing as perfection.
That's right. Absolutely.
So it's like, I did it perfectly. Yeah. No, you did. What more do you want me to do?
Exactly right, man. So though I love Dwight's music, I've nothing more than a quick, hey, nice to meet you, nothing. You know what I mean? And so I have no interaction with him personally.
You've never asked him for his belt buckle?
Well, no, you could never do that. He would hit you. Have you not seen Sling Blade?
All I'm saying,
we got no band,
is that if you don't ask,
I would.
You'll never get it.
Ask.
Yeah, no, I'm just not willing to do it.
What do you think I did with Neil Bortz?
Yeah.
Well, you asked.
He asked for a bus.
I asked for his bus.
And I guarantee one day he might get it because I know Neil Bortz had a beautiful home up by where I live up there in Clayton County area. I'm not going to say where it was, but he had a friend who really was somebody that took good care of Neil and the Queen and everything, and that house was given to him from what I
love that.
That's the rumor.
All right. Well,
Neil's the one who told me that rumor, so.
I'm just not willing to, something about asking for somebody's belt buckle is odd.
Yeah, well.
Hey, can I have your belt buckle? Can you imagine
I
that
hope
being
you
the
use
question?
that same thing when he's riding around the Bortz bus and you're afraid to ask him for a ride, but I'll be in there.
I know.
And here, Rhino will have like a whole, he'll have a whole trophy case of belt buckles.
That's right.
From country artists we went
and
to
every
go
time
watch.
we're just going to drive up and down.
And you just wave.
And we're going to throw things at you.
You're just out in the cold.
Yeah.
Wave and wish.
Yeah. You'll just be sitting there waiting for hypothermia to kick in, and we're all warm and cozy.
I'm going to moon you.
With all of our belt buckles.
Speaking of mooning, I've got a story I want to share with you after we give away these tickets to see Dr. Jordan B. Peterson and his We Who Wrestle with God tour coming to State Farm Arena March 15th. He's a psychiatrist, professor, author, and podcaster. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, if you'd like to go see him at State Farm Arena, then call us up now at 404-741-1230, 404-741-1230, and you have a pair of tickets, courtesy of Live Nation and Extra 106.3. If you don't win the tickets, you can get them this afternoon because Kimmer is giving away a pair of tickets as well during the Kimmer Show 3 until 6. Ultimately, if you aren't lucky enough, then you can buy them. You can do that at livenation.com. Since you talked about mooning.
Yeah.
There is a yoga studio that has introduced a clothing-optional yoga class for their members.
I'm in. Is it here?
Yeah. No, it's actually in Montana.
Oh,
but if
because I'd make Amanda go down there and pixelate all the video of me doing it, but I would do it for the show.
I don't think the show needs you to. You
No,
do it on
I'm
your
just
own
saying
time.
doing it for the show, my show.
Oh, yes,
not
there
this
we go.
show.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think we want to see it.
Yes,
Lowe's.
you
I
do.
don't want
There
to
is
see it.
goat yoga, which is also kind of funny.
Yes.
And you don't have
It's-
to get naked.
It's weird,
Can
too,
you get
though,
naked?
man.
I'm not
Did
getting
you
naked
go
with
on
a
that?
goat.
I did not.
Again.
I went on that one.
Okay.
I went on that trip, and the problem with goat yoga is as you're
There's
in
too many goats.
with that, and you know what's the
Do they like put shoes on their little hard hooves?
No, they're
they
jumping
don't.
everywhere.
Yeah, no, they jump
They're everywhere.
What's the
the heck out of
pose where you put your hands forward and you kind of your heads down?
To your downward dog.
Okay, downward dog.
Prone position is what I was going to say.
Okay, well maybe that's it. I don't know.
No,
You're
that's
downward
a
dog.
law.
God,
That's what they did to Floyd. The prone
my Lord.
position.
Oh my Lord.
No,
yeah,
that's
so
legal, good
downward dog.
position. It's
What
in the
happens is
handbook.
the goats will stand there next to you, and
Yeah.
then they poop a lot.
Oh, come on, man.
And you're standing there, and your head's on the ground, and all of a sudden you hear just little droplings, and you're like, look
Wait,
to
do
your
goats
right.
make sound? They just drop out, right? They don't.
They do, but this, they have like your own mats.
Yeah.
So it's, when something hits the mat, it makes a little.
Sure.
It's not like a huge sound, but you know what's happening. You're like, oh my God.
It's like a drizzle.
Yeah,
No.
this is terrible. So
hailstorm.
that's the only thing that I didn't like about goat yoga. I like the goats because they're awesome. I love goats. But when you're trying to do downward dog and they're dropping next to your
Well,
head.
Get more to the naked thing.
Well,
you got video?
Yeah, all right. Well, here's the people involved with the class.
I wanna hear the
and
naked part.
Clementine Lindley. She's the owner of Limber Tree Yoga and Wellness, talking about this class.
Yoga is at its core about liberation. I'm trying to get people into a space of acknowledging what they might be holding in their bodies, everything from trauma to joy.
It helps calm and soothe my Tourette's. I've always been really curious about doing a clothing optional class because it makes us really self-conscious, and I am pretty self-conscious. I'm a little fluffier, than I want to be, just like most people.
We've had some folks that have started off in sports bras and shorts, and they slowly moved to like a topless space and then just kind of completely just all out and in the open.
Let's go. I love
This is insanity.
Yeah, there's
This
some-
is the craziest thing I've
What
ever.
are you talking about?
This is insane.
Listen to me. You need to let go a little.
Dude,
I want you
I don't
to
need to let
practice.
go that much.
I want you to practice slowly because God made you naked. He didn't give
I
you
know.
clothes. He didn't give you a Georgia hat. He
I
didn't give
know.
you anything else.
I
He
know.
said, walk this earth this way. What I want you to do, and this is an easy way to get in, Dr. Rhino jumping in here, is I want you to slowly walk around the house, okay? And I want you to look around, and I want you to slowly start dropping clothes. Now, keep listen.
No,
It's just you and Laura. Jacob's gone. This is your time.
that's right,
This is
yeah.
when you do this.
It's kind of a point. Good point.
No, it's fair, but
I want you to keep the blinds closed.
Well, yeah.
Walk around, get comfortable with that. Then I want you to slowly open one, and then you just scoot across real quick. And get comfortable with the fact that someone may have looked and seen you scoot across, but no one cares,
I
Tug.
don't want to. It's not
your fault, Tug. It's not your fault.
It's not about
It's not
me,
your fault.
y'all.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, you don't want to seeing Laura. You know you're going to lose that.
No, it's not. It's not about that either. It's
No?
just about. I don't want to damage. Like if I'm walking in front of the window and somebody happens to be looking, they're going to be like, "Oh, God."
Their fault.
Yeah,
That's
but-
what I said. This
no,
is your
I know-
fault for looking.
I know it is.
Don't get
I know
on
it
me.
is. No, I'm not getting on you at all.
It's kind of like when you were
no, I know you're
traumatized by
not,
that
but-
neighbor who had all the cop cars out there.
Yeah.
It was your fault for going out in the front yard to watch.
I don't know there was trauma.
Why don't you come over? We'll all do naked yoga.
No, I'm good. No, I think
Naked
I'm,
hot tub?
No, Lowe's, you go ahead and
Ultra
and
right
Joey,
beer?
Y'all do it.
Some beers.
Yeah, no,
get some beers in there for you.
no desire.
If Dwight Yoakam said
No,
told you to. No.
I did walk down the stairs.
Darius?
I think it was last
Get
weekend.
some weed in the hot tub with Darius Rucker.
And all I had was on a pair of underwear, and my wife and daughters were all like, "What are you doing?" And I just gone down to grab a cup of water, but I recognized that was too weird for them. So, yeah, nudity, it's out.
Really?
But that's the thing. But you're alone
You
in the
guys are
house.
missing out.
It doesn't matter though. Like
You got to practice in the house.
I
you
just,
really have to practice.
There's no desire there. You know what I mean? I don't want to walk around the house naked. I don't want
It's
to.
freeing.
Don't you kind of want to be
I
like
miss
king of the
it.
castle though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, I'm in charge.
I feel like the
See,
king
I'm
of
the
castle
opposite.
already.
I hate that I have to keep clothes on when I go places.
Yeah.
It's not about showing off. I just feel more comfortable.
King of the castle. King of the castle. Look, I'm
Yeah.
all naked in my house.
I'm naked in my house. Naked in my house.
naked.
You get home
You
before
don't be like
Laura. Practice by yourself.
Yeah, I'm happy when I get in the shower, out of the shower, and just put some comfortable clothes on. I'm content there.
I don't even know how you had a kid.
What?
How'd you even have a kid?
Well, I mean, do I have to walk you through the process?
No.
This is not a mystery.
You're so embarrassed about taking your clothes off.
There's nothing to do with embarrassment. It's not embarrassment. It's just like, it's just weird to me to always want to be naked. It's weird to me. That just it seems very foreign to me.
Yeah.
Like
what
there's
have
a
you done
time
in the
and a
old
place.
days? Would you have been mad at everybody running around without clothes on?
No, but I don't
You'd
think
be like, Adam, I need to talk to you.
I think it was just a different time. You know, I just think
Adam, you've gone too far.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You listened to this woman.
Oh my
Now
God,
you've
he
eaten
put
of
this
the
on.
apple. Now you've eaten of the apple and we all feel naked. So yeah, Billings, Montana, yoga studio, clothing optional if you'd like to go bare roots.
Right.
Maybe they'll open one here in town.
I hope so.
And if they do, I hope y'all go and enjoy it.
Well, I mean, it's good for your body to expel all the bad stuff and all the, it's like a detox.
Is there anything worse? And I don't go to the gym often, but once in a while when you go and you're like, man, I'm just going to hit the steam room.
Yeah.
And then there's 15 old guys in there that are 60 plus and they are just dragging on the ground, man. You're just it's the worst. You're like, oh, can you just put some boxers on? Can you do? I don't want to see you naked.
Like they just like sit there in the towel and then sit on the bench and you're like, all right, and then the towel just falls out.
Well,
and you're like, come on, dude.
And a lot of them don't even put the towel on to begin with.
Oh, they just walking.
Run right in there like they own place.
Old men, see, that's the best part about it being old men. Is you don't care. You can just walk and fart and no one will give you a hard time. Yeah, you can walk naked anywhere. Weird. No one thinks you're crazy.
No, we do. No, I do. Man,
I can't wait till naked yoga.
Well, enjoy it.
The best part about yoga is it's relaxing. You get things out.
It is. I like yoga. We do it on Saturday mornings.
The first time I did a class, like I was all in and they said, it's okay. It's okay. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then I farted because of the way it went. And she goes, no, that's okay. You're expressing it's normal. Everybody does that. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this class anymore.
You're fine with being naked around everybody, but not passing gas.
Well, yeah, because of course I went in the back, but when all the girls started passing gas, now I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a weird girls club, like this is okay. So I kind of get it, I guess.
I reckon. All right. The Biden administration, they made a critical error, and we've been talking about it for how long? They named Lowe's Bidenomics. They named the failure policy so we can go back to it and call it by said name. The one thing they didn't do was remember to get the website, Bidenomics.com. So now Americans for Prosperity own said website and have put all the failures of the Biden administration and Bidenomics on the website, Bidenomics.com, for everybody in the world to see. How can you be so stupid?
I don't understand how they gave us this gift until we saw James O'Keefe a couple of weeks ago talking to an administration official who is in charge of IT security. And James O'Keefe, as this guy's explaining all the problems they have in the White House and how they want to ditch Joe, but they can't, and how Kamala doesn't have any allies and nobody likes her anyway. James O'Keefe then flat out says, hey, listen, you're IT security. How did you not know you're on a date with James O'Keefe? So no surprise to me that they would not cover and take care of themselves when it comes to a Bidenomics website they created and then realize how bad of an idea it was.
Look at this thing, man.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Bidenomics is bad economics. That's Bidenomics.com right now. That's how stupid they are.
They gave us a gift.
They gave it.
When we said it, we were like, they gave us a gift.
Yeah, it's a free gift. And it
continues to give.
Of course it continues to give. They're so dumb when it comes to it because they think we've done this for so long. We have tricked people into voting for us. We've pandered to them. They believe everything we say. So they throw out the name Bidenomics and then they don't go. They thought this was a genius way to say it. Because obviously, we all know that gas prices are down. We know that it's easier to live nowadays with them running this.
Oh, yeah.
And then when everybody goes, and Marjorie Taylor Greene might have been the first one to say, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Bidenomics, name it Bidenomics. And then everybody started making fun of it. Maybe we were the first ones to do it. And Carlos was like, yeah, this is free gift.
What a gift.
They should have bought it then.
Of course they should have.
But
who would?
Then remember what they said. Mike Extremists call it Bidenomics.
Yeah, that's right.
And
well,
now they're back to it.
That was the pivot, and now you're exactly right. But it's funny the description you gave it, because if you read the first paragraph, Bidenomics, rhetoric versus reality, if you ask any American what they think of the U.S. economy, they will tell you things are not good. Americans are stressed by the family budget, the worry of falling behind financially, and on and on and on and on, because they weren't smart enough to get Bidenomics.com. I bet they didn't get at Bidenomics on the social media platforms either. I bet people are scrambling this morning to try to get those.
Yeah, because there are some numbers that you could go ahead and throw out there, right? Like they could throw out that there's more jobs in the country. That one is they could throw it out there. They can defend it. They can't defend the gas prices. They continually come out there. Hakeem Jeffries every day. Gas prices are down. No, they're not. They went from $3.17 the other day to $3.24 to $3.23 maybe, and then back to $3.24. Prices aren't down. Nothing they're telling. It's a very hard sell to the American people who are doing everything they can to survive right now.
Well, here's the flimsiness of this game. Yes, you can say, and they often do, look at all the jobs we created. The problem is, if you look at the difference in the amount of full-time jobs versus part-time jobs, we have lost full-time jobs. They've been replaced by a multitude of part-time jobs. So while it looks strong, hey, look what we've been able to create. It comes back to if you want 40 hours employment, benefits, and everything else, that is less available to you. Instead, it's you can go take multiple jobs in this gig economy.
The rhetoric. We're bringing down prices across the board.
Wrong.
Credited to Joe Biden. The reality. Cost of living is up 18% and climbing since Joe Biden took office. Prices are up, and American families are paying $11,400 more per year to maintain the quality of life they had in January of 2021. And each of Joe Biden's statements are documented with rhetoric and reality on Bidenomics.com.
I hope it trends. I hope it really gets out there because
it's the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It's
so
brilliant.
Dumb. No, it's
the
brilliant.
left needs to see it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I hope they go to it.
And they may stumble on it because it's such a new website. People searching for Bidenomics.
Right.
Some lefty loony going to give you the facts.
Oh, that's the best part. Can you imagine, like, you're sitting there arguing, saying, hey, they didn't create 14 million jobs. The economy's not good. The CPI index tells you, oh, yeah, I'm going to go fact check this guy, Bidenomics.com. Oh, my God.
Worst.
Oh, it'd be the worst nightmare for someone trying to.
An absolute tragedy.
Throw
That's what
you.
it is.
Oh, gosh.
How dumb.
How delicious.
Can you be?
How delicious.
It is so perfect. Like when I saw it for the first time last night, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Everybody needs to just tweet it out. You know?
Yeah, tweet it. Absolutely. Share it.
Or go to Threads.
Absolutely. Nobody would see it there.
It went to die there. Weird.
Yeah, there's at least 10 people still there.
Yeah, right. And they're all
Keith
lefties.
Olbermann still got his account.
You're probably right about that. Congratulations to Joanne from Sandy Springs. She's going to see Dr. Jordan Peterson. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. Your exterior solution in Atlanta. They're based down in Jackson, Georgia, but have helped out Atlanta and the Southeast, for that matter, with the exteriors of their homes for 20 plus years. 8779 Southern or southernexteriors.co is the website. Southernexteriors.co, not .com, but .co. When we come back, an elderly woman on a fixed budget hammers the Denver City Council about the cost of illegal immigration to her and everybody else. Next, as we wrap the bonus hour here on Extra 106.3 and the Morning Extra.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
26 million protested in 2020 on behalf of a criminal who died while resisting arrest with a fatal dose of fentanyl in his system. How many will march for Laken Riley? Will there be streets named after her? Will she have her own televised funeral? Will they be kneeling for her in Congress? No. She was a white nursing student, had no criminal record, and her killer was a non-white illegal alien let in by Joe Biden.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Hi, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Seniors Helping Seniors.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Terry, owner of Seniors Helping Seniors. After losing my father, my husband and I wanted to take our experience and help others in the community. Our mission is to create meaningful connections while fulfilling the needs of our caregivers, clients, and their families. Seniors Helping Seniors helps less active seniors stay independent, allowing them to live the life the way they want to in the comfort of their own homes. We offer companionship and socialization, light housekeeping, meal preparation, transportation, doctor's appointments, dementia care, relief for the family caregiver, and more.
We hire active, mature adults who have a better understanding of the aging process. It's like getting a little help from a friend. please check us out at shsnorthwestatlanta.com.
What a tremendous opportunity that fills a need so many of us can relate to. Friends, reach out. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
The Atlanta Braves are in search of the best bar in Braves country, and we need your help. Do you have a favorite spot to watch the Braves in your town? We want to hear about it. Now through March 13th, fans can nominate their favorite local bar or restaurant and tell us why you think it's the best bar in Braves country. 6 finalists will be announced, and voting will open to fans to crown the official best bar in Braves country, with the winner receiving a Braves-hosted watch party and tons of swag. Visit Braves.com/best bar to nominate your favorite bar or restaurant.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Keep up with all of our shows and the latest headlines by following Extra 106.3 on Instagram, X, Facebook, Truth Social, and all your social media platforms. Plus exclusive giveaways and more. So follow now at XTRA 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. Then the Glenn Beck program. Play Travis Buck Sexton. The local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete and Flounder. Kimmer show 3 until 6. Jesse Kelly, who oftentimes gets left out when we're talking about the lineup, takes you from 6 until 9. And dude is the biggest rising star in all of conservative media. We wrap up the evening with a really funny show. Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. And man, that guy's blowing up. He is all over Fox News every time you turn him on.
But blowing up. He's been eating a lot.
Like
he is.
I mean, he's a bigger guy.
Yeah, he is a big dude.
But I don't know about. I mean,
well, they're working him into everything.
They
now.
are, but that's the truth, man. Yeah. He is probably the biggest star that they have.
You know what's interesting?
Upcoming star.
As an evolution that's going on at Fox, they have really become. And I think it all goes back to Gutfeld. They have had success adding elements of comedy into their political talk, and now it's gone in a direction where, because comedy is satire. Comedy allows us to talk about things oftentimes we're not allowed to. They've seemed to found like a little bit of an element where people say, yeah, I kind of like that with this.
Yeah, absolutely. But between him and, like you said, Gutfeld, I mean, Gutfeld, when he was doing that late night show, he was beating every one of the network shows, which is not supposed to happen.
Well, the new right is different. We're ready for those kind of jokes. We're ready to be a little bit hardcore. We're a little bit more lenient with some of the things that are being said. So when Jimmy Fallon comes around or Gutfeld, in the old days, like Republicans, especially the establishment, would be like, oh, that's so offensive. But the new right is like, it's not offensive anymore. Donald Trump let us know. This is not offensive. This is, hey, we're taking our country back. So I love what Jimmy Fallon does. I love having him, on our station. Number one, we need to get him on. And he's been so nice to me whenever, I was filling in and doing Guy Benson. He was the first one I could call and say, hey, come on, and has a great time, loves doing this. And even he's surprised at the success he has, but he's not handcuffed like some of these others.
I'll tell you, there is a story out of Denver that should make you angry. And it probably will when you hear this woman. She's an elderly lady on a fixed budget, and she just goes in and hammers the Denver City Council about the cost of illegal immigration. She's done the math, and it does not work out.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the poor, the elderly, who are struggling because of the issues that you deal with and how you deal with them. I took a look at some figures, and I figured some people here ought to hear them. If we look at Denver with 40,000 immigrants, and we think that they cost $1,000 a month for housing, it's going to be $480 million for 1 year. That's just $1,000, and I don't think you can get housing for that. If you feed those people 40,000 at $200 a month per person, I don't think that's possible today. If any of you have gone to the grocery store, that's $96 million in a year. We are headed for a tsunami. I don't think you know what you're heading at. The total of that, $576 million. Your budget, if I am correct, and I Googled it, I might be wrong, is only $72 million. I ask you how you think you're going to afford it.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's not
Common
like
sense.
Yeah, she's not like a professor at a university. She's not celebrated by the left of being the smartest. She's just an elderly woman who can count. $570 million is what you're going to be, what you're going to need to do all the things that you're saying you're going to do in our sanctuary city, and your budget is 70. And that's eliminating anything else that you're responsible
Carlos
for.
just did math. I can't wait, because people who do numbers, it kind of works out.
Well, and she's using, to illustrate the point, very, very conservative numbers and saying, well, 1,000 per. And who's finding 1,000 per?
Nobody.
All right. And then she starts building the argument from there to illustrate this city government will run out of money very quickly.
It's pretty simple.
And this is oftentimes what the statists don't get into. And again, judge me by my intentions, not the results. When they start cutting city public services and city services, when suddenly you have less police, less fire department, less parks, less of all these things, and they go, well, I mean, it's for the greater good. It's like, no, I'm a citizen of this place. My taxes go to, why do I get less?
Well, and part of the reason is they know that the ones that are going to complain the most, the ones that are going to be hurt the most, are the ones that they're going to hurt on purpose, because it's a large majority of us don't have the money. There's not as many billionaires or millionaires.
They're not going to vote for those people anyway. So what does it matter? They don't care that they hurt that woman and her husband, who was a retired school teacher.
But they also want you to have to depend on them. They want you to worry about this. They want you to need money because they can supply it for you. Because then these millionaires, that are politicians, like Bernie Sanders, who never had a job, he's worth millions now because he's a politician, will then complain and say millionaires need to pay their fair share.
But listen to her talk about what it was that she did and her husband did to prepare to retire, and then what they're doing now because of what's happening in Denver.
Now, personally, I live on a budget of $30,000. My husband was a school teacher, and I worked for Jefferson County, and I had a disability, and we had to quit. We had our advisors, and they assured us that we were going to have enough money to survive. Well, I'll tell you how I survived on $30,000. You have done such wonderful work with your housing that you have caused my taxes to go up to $3,000 for insurance, $3,000 for my car, $10,000 extra. Take that out, and I live on $20,000. I have to go to get clothing from the Goodwill. Now I'm so poor, I have to repair the clothing. I go to the food bank, and I'll tell you what I see. I see immigrants coming in, jostling and pushing us out as they cut line, take more food than they're required to do, and our poor staff that deals with those things are out of their ever-loving mind trying to figure out how they're going to handle it. You ask how I'm coping? For God's sakes, help me.
Dude, you think she's red-pilled, or was she always feeling this way, or she always realized it?
I don't know the answer, but I can tell you that there are more people like her in this country that are experiencing the exact same things. There's a reason in New York when the city said we're going to pay for housing for immigrants for a year if some of the counties in upstate will take these illegal immigrants, and only 5 of the 62 counties, Los, have said, yeah, we'll do that.
Think about when you introduce illegals into your society. And these are people that came across your border illegally. They were then handed your funds, your state funds. They were then taking care of the housing. Why do you think that when they show up at the food bank, they cut the line?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think they have this mentality of this does not apply to them? Because you established it did.
You set the example already.
You made your own citizens second-class citizens to illegals. And so that woman's just illustrating at a very simple point. It's going to start with the young people who don't have a lot of money and the old people who don't have a lot of money.
But they're all starting to figure it out, right? I mean, our young groups are now complaining, going, wait a minute, I don't have the American dream. I won't be able to buy a house. It's unattainable at this point.
Ask Joe.
Our teachers,
Joe is living at home with his parents to save up money. Illegals are being handed a $9,000 credit card and saying, we've got you covered at a luxury hotel.
Vote Democrat.
Could you imagine that, Joe? Luxury hotel.
It must be nice.
We're going to put you up at the Biltmore and you go hang out and do your thing.
Why are so many young people drawn to that Democrat Party? It's the teachers. That's why, these teachers will figure out at one point, these professors, maybe not professors as much as teachers, that when they go to retire, the amount that they're given back for everything they've given and what they voted for throughout their entire career is now going to backfire on them like she has. I don't know if she's red pilled. She may have always seen this. I wish she would have seen this and put away and saved in different manners so that she has to deal with this.
But it seems like she was working with a financial advisor who said, yes, you've saved the proper amount. That's what she said. Our advisors told us we're going to live fine in retirement.
30% of what she was working off of suddenly disappeared.
That's exactly. So that's the point. They did the right thing and then continue to do the right thing.
Right.
And yet those supervisors in the city hall there where she went and spoke, I'm sure as soon as she was done, she was like, okay, your time is up. Scurry on.
Yeah.
We've got nothing else for you.
This is why it's so important to find a state. This is why this country was set up, because if you don't agree with the religion that we have in this area, go somewhere else. If you don't believe in the way that we want to handle the finances, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Go away from these blue cities. Go away from these Democrat-run states. There's a reason California is in debt.
And it ain't going to change anytime soon. Go to Bidenomics.com. Then you'll see it yourself. This is Morning Xtra. Dude, I don't know how you're dumb enough. I don't know how you're dumb enough to not capture the website, but Americans for Prosperity have. And if you need ammunition about why Bidenomics sucks, go to Bidenomics.com. It's pretty entertaining. All right, that'll do it for us. We're going to turn it over to Glenn Beck program, then Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, and the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Kimmer show can only be heard on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra 106.3 app. Download that free for Apple and Android today. Just search for XTRA 106.3 FM Atlanta. For Rhino, Front Office Los, and Board Up, Joe Virgin River, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear? The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Neil, you addressed